Hello, and welcome to the Stuck at the Airport podcast. I'm Anthony.
And Kyle. Nice to meet you all for the second time.
Oh, adjust myself here. We're gaming. I know, I never said last week why it's called the Stuck at the Airport podcast. It's because we are at an airport. Like, an airplane just took off. I could hear it. There's like 5 or 6 parked outside. I can walk through like one door and be on an active runway and get charged with a felony.
That would be pretty cool. Kind of badass.
Yeah, right. Start my weekend, start my Christmas off with a felony charge.
You wouldn't have to give anybody gifts, save money.
Mm-mm.
But you already bought them.
Yeah, that's the issue. I already
so
bought the
never
gifts.
mind. You got to plan ahead of time.
So, it's not sugar-free. I'm fucking pissed.
Red Bull sucks.
No, Red Bull's good.
Red Bull's so mid.
I thought it was a sugar-free. And guess how many
Oh.
grams of sugar are in...
I didn't think they even made it with sugar anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately they
even
do,
know.
and my dumbass bought it. There are 63 grams of sugar in this can.
That's like a full-ass pop.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's horrible. I remember seeing on YouTube like a visualized video of like the sugar in like a soda. Why am I calling it pop and soda? Soda pop.
Yeah, you're Midwestern. It's
I don't know where I'm from right now.
I think it's pop. We say pop up here.
It's a soda pop. You're wrong. I'm always right.
A sody pop.
But the amount of sugar that they put in those, people don't realize, is just scoops and scoops. And I think if people saw that, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want this anymore."
A good visualizer is, sugar cubes.
Mm-hmm.
I think each one of those is 1 gram,
Holy crap!
if I'm correct.
So multiply that by 63.
60. If you could make a fucking pyramid out of those things, and that is what is in this can, like that would 63 of these is bigger than this fucking can. I think.
Yeah, how do they even fit that in there?
Beats me, dude. But they jam it in, and now there were 63 grams of sugar in this fucking Red Bull.
All right, where does Red Bull rank on your energy drink tier list?
It's one of the top.
Really?
Yeah, like my thing with energy drinks. So I don't like the flavored ones. I know Mitch loves those peach ones.
I don't like those.
I don't fuck with those because I know it's peach. If I don't know what flavor it is, I kind of like it.
Like the original Monster?
Yeah, that's my favorite Monster
I don't like
flavor.
that.
You like knowing what it is? Like a watermelon is a watermelon.
Kind of. Like the Mountain Dews that we get.
Yeah.
Like when they say cherry limeade, like they taste really good to me.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a problem with those.
Those are so
Those are
good.
just good.
I think for me that's an S tier.
I think that's an S tier as well. That's
So what's your favorite?
original
that-
Monster flavor.
Really?
I think it's because I grew up on it. Like myself was 12 years old playing Call of Duty in my friend's living room, getting Monster energy drinks every weekend.
I was too sheltered. I was not allowed to drink energy drinks. I
Really?
begged my mom. So she worked at the mall. And
In
I remember,
Belton?
Yeah, in Belton. She worked at Piercing Pagoda for a while. For a long time when I was younger. And I remember begging her, I think it was Christmas time, or maybe my birthday. It was a special day coming up. And they were giving out free Red Bull at the mall, and I knew this. I don't know how I got word, but somebody plugged me in. And I was like,
Free
so
Red
they're
Bull at
giving
the
out
mall.
free Red Bull? I'm getting a free fucking Red Bull. So I was like, Mom. I said, listen, motherfucker. I never had one. I only want a little bit. All my friends are drinking them. I'm not cool because they are, and I'm not. I don't get one, they do. It's bullshit. So she gets one at the mall. I don't know why because she was like super against them. I mean, like anti, like don't you touch it, you will die. If you drink
I'm
this,
like crazy about it.
this is ricin. You're dead. You're dead. So I did have a little bit of panic in my heart. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
because
it's like the forbidden fruit.
It was my mom's propaganda, dude. So she brings it home. And I remember her getting out like the smallest fucking shot glass I've ever,
Shot glass of
seen
Red
in my
Bull.
life, dude. And she opens it up and she pours in like a third. It was a third of it wasn't even a sip. It was like literally like that much. Like it was so small. And I drank it and I spit it out because I didn't I thought it was gonna taste like, I don't know what I was thinking in my head, like this is gonna be like root beer for some reason. No idea why. It was clear. So my brain was like root beer, but it was fucking clear. And I remember drinking it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, it's Red Bull. I was like, bullshit. I got so mad at her that we got in an argument, and I got grounded for 3 days because I told her to shut up. And I was like 9 or 10 years old, dude. and I was going off on
And
it.
you thought she like swapped it out, so you're like, this
Yeah.
isn't Red Bull. You want me to hate it, so you changed the flavor.
In my trust issue ass head, I thought that she sabotaged Red Bull, even though I watched her crack it open in front of me. I was like, no, she didn't. She changed this one stuff. She put salt and water in here to make me think it was shitty. Nope, just that's what started my Red Bull hate. So I'm not a big fan personally.
Surprisingly, my first Monster was it wasn't a similar vein. My brother, in high school, I think it might have been. Yeah, he might have been in high school. He chewed dip.
I hope it wasn't Alex.
No, it was not
Okay.
Alex. It was my older brother. He still does, but
Yeah.
when you dip, you need a spitter,
Mm-hmm.
and he spit into an empty Monster can.
Oh God. I know
And
this is good.
in our kitchen, we had this like countertop where we put recyclables, and he put his mildly empty spitter can on that countertop, and my curious self wanders over to it, and I'm like, I've never had Monster before. I want to try it. So I drink his spitter can, spit tobacco, and I ran over to the sink and just fucking let it loose. I was like, dude, this stuff tastes fucking horrible.
You couldn't the texture wasn't like, okay, this is a little thick for.
There was it was just a little bit in there, and I shook it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have some Monster today. This is gonna be awesome.
That's like everybody's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it was fucking disgusting.
All right, I want a description. What did that taste like? Give our viewers a nice.
A thick, because the stuff he dipped was like mint, so it had a mint to it.
Some sauce.
But like, it was also it was all spit. That makes me like gag a little bit, and
Ew.
tobacco doesn't. Okay, I'm just making sure the camera's still moving.
We
But
vibing.
supposedly, if you swallow a lot of dip, your stomach hates it.
Well, yeah.
Like unsurprisingly, and you throw it up. So it probably tasted just like shit. Horrible.
You poor man.
It was so disgusting.
It's like people's biggest fear because I've been around people that dipped and I've seen their disgusting, volatile, disturbing ass spit cups.
Oh, they'll do like anything go.
Oh my god. Yeah, you hear you're just doing something, mind your business. And what's going on here? It's like a spider shooting a web. But you ever have the pouches? They had instead it wasn't.
I've had a pouch.
That was the first time I've ever I was in ninth grade I think, and somebody offered it to me. I didn't know I didn't understand what it was. They told me it was nicotine or something. They explained it, and I put it in my mouth. And I'd never I don't think at this point I'd smoked a cigarette or anything. And I remember I kept swallowing
Oh man.
over and over because it was making my mouth water. I remember it was kind of
It kind of like
burning almost. It was a weird
stings
feeling. You sting,
a little bit.
It was like if you brushed your teeth and drank ice cold water.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like in the pocket of my lip. And I did not know you weren't supposed to swallow them. I thought they were to be swallowed.
Like the whole pouch.
The whole fucking thing.
You ate the pouch.
Genuinely, I ate the pouch.
That's pretty.
I
rancid.
swallowed the pouch. Fortunately, I didn't have
Thank God, it was
nothing.
in a pouch. If it wasn't, you probably would have vomited everywhere.
Oh god, yeah. I think that's what helped me. I think maybe the way that it dissolved was slower than if it wasn't in a pouch, so it was not so fast and hit me like a brick. But I definitely felt like I got dizzy. I felt
Yeah, that's
real
the
lightheaded.
nicotine.
And that's the only time I've ever had a nicotine buzz.
Really?
Yep, I've smoked cigarettes before, but not many. Maybe 3 in my life. And I was nah.
I used to smoke cigarettes mildly frequently. Not
Yeah.
I don't think I was never addicted to
I think
cigarettes.
everybody wants to try one at least once.
I think everyone does. And I think everyone should, unless you're yeah, fuck those, I'm done. But if you're mildly curious, you should try one because they suck ass. They're absolutely horrible.
Hold up.
No, dude, they taste awful. They smell awful. They leave the worst scent. If you're going to use nicotine, use a vape, which is still not great because anything in your lungs is just not good for you.
Right.
Or Zyn. I've heard those are popular
I see a lot of
with the
memes
kids.
on,
Yeah, they're zinning.
There's in it.
Forgive me, Father, for I'm about to zin. I think that's funny as fuck. But the cigarettes, they're nasty as fuck.
I have to let me teach the kids a little something here. There's a cigarette. What's the little ball in there? What is that made out of?
Those are Camel Crushes.
Camel Crushes. Don't take my advice seriously, for a disclaimer, Go out and get yourself a Camel Crush. If you never smoked a cigarette before, crush the ball, roll it around, and take a fat fucking drag. Your life will change.
The menthol.
It tastes so good.
The menthol isn't bad.
They're not bad. They're like, but I was drunk, so maybe drink before you do it. It'll taste a little better. But
A sober cigarette is far worse than a drunk cigarette.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was drunk for 2 of the 3. I might have been sober once, and I
might have sobered you up, and you're like, man, this.
I remember
fucking
making
sucks.
me fun of. My friends made fun of me for how I held it.
Did you hold it like this?
No, I held it like an 80-year-old grandmother that's been addicted for like 40 years.
Like the 2 hands.
I was
2 fingers.
I was sassy with it, dude. And they're like, "Why the fuck are you holding it like that?" I was like, "I've smoked so many of these. What are you talking about?"
Bro, I know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, I lied to him
cigarettes.
to get it because I saw my friend had it. I was like, "Hey, bro, can I like bum a cigarette?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "You smoke?" I was like, "Yeah, I smoke." So I grabbed it like that. I had no idea what I was doing, and they're all making fun of me. And I was like, "Dude, I do this all the time."
I do have fond memories smoking cigarettes in my backyard while getting intoxicated. I do have some fond memories,
Let's
and
not
we were.
incriminate ourselves.
Sorry, my parents know all this shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm 25. What do I care?
True.
But we were talking at work, and it's starting to get real cold outside, and we see people go out and have their smoke breaks. I'm like, fuck that, dude. That's too cold. I'll sit in a warm car, use my vape, and get on Reddit. But you do kind of like look cooler smoking a cigarette outside at night in the cold.
Yeah.
It's just a different feeling.
Especially if you leaned up against something.
Yeah.
Got one hand in the pocket.
You get like plus 10 cool points.
Yeah. You got to look a certain way. If you're like fat and funny looking, cigarettes don't really fit you.
Yeah, if you're wearing like a
James
badass
Dean, like,
denim
Clint
jacket, and
yeah.
jeans, and cool boots,
It's kind of cool, you know?
it does have
Like
some
you
cool
smoke,
points to
like,
it.
whoa, you're pretty cool.
Like, damn, he looks cool, but he smells like shit.
Don't smoke cigarettes, kids.
Yeah, they're fucking nasty.
They are. They're bad
nasty.
for you. They'll kill you.
Also, this guy I worked with at my last job would smoke. He didn't buy packs. He bought boxes of cigarettes. He would smoke like 3 packs a day. There's 20 cigarettes in a pack. 60 cigarettes a day.
How do you have time for that? Like you literally have to.
You have to like chain smoke 3 or 4 on break,
all day.
and like that's fucked.
So, here's a good question for you. What do you think? So let me rephrase this. Back in the 50s, 60s, all the way to the 30s and 40s, cigarettes were just like the norm. Like
Yeah.
nobody really understood like the consequences of it. We know now. What is today's modern version of the cigarette?
Something that is just like widely accepted
But
without
not-
knowing the full consequences.
Yes.
Probably vaping.
Vaping? Okay, I can get behind that.
Because everyone fucking does it. I would say more kids do it than like have ever smoked cigarettes. And a lot of people do talk about like the popcorn lung thing, and I don't know much about it. I just have a nicotine addiction. I use the fucking thing.
Mm.
But they have not been around long enough
That's
to
a good
like
point.
really figure out how fucked up you're going to be.
So there's no long-term research studies.
No, there can't be. It's impossible.
So, and at the same time, you're kind of blindly trusting these companies to be telling the truth on their labeling, I guess. Like, I'm not saying like the popular companies are going to be, but you never know.
Yeah, they can put whatever the fuck they want in there.
Which many companies have been caught, not with like vaping, but other things putting.
You've probably seen, there's been videos like on TikTok of Elf Bar, when the Elf Bars were really popular.
Oh, Elf Bars, yeah.
People in the factories like
Oh.
sticking their mouth on all of them, testing them
Testing
out.
them.
Like, that's fucking gross, dude.
How did they not pass out?
Maybe they got lungs of steel. Like,
They have to. Like iron lung in this bitch, dude.
I don't know. They're probably so used to the nicotine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get a head buzz anymore, really, unless I go probably a full 24 hours without
it's
using
like a
nicotine.
little tolerance break.
Yeah, but I don't take tolerance breaks because
Mhm.
I'm addicted to this shit. Like, if it's there, I'm going to use it.
Hell yeah. So you say vaping, I would say social media, and I'll elaborate. So I believe that social media is destroying the attention spans of people, and they're publishing studies recently about this. It's just now being kind of brought up and studied and learned about in the past maybe 5 to 8 years at the most. So I believe that social media is like the future cancer of society in a way, because it's created so much like narcissism, self-esteem issues, addiction. Like I say, the memories. People are, their focus is way less than it was. So like when you're watching TikTok or Reels, like I'm totally addicted to these things too. I'm no
I'm
saint here.
100% addicted to my phone.
But I've noticed with myself, the more that I'm on there, and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm watching video after video after video, my attention span I can just feel is like destroying itself. So sometimes it's harder for me to focus. Say I spend a day on social media, or like not a whole day, but like maybe I just got off of a 2 hour binge on like Reels or TikTok or some shit. The rest of the day, I'm kind of foggy. Like it's kind of hard for me to focus on something, which I think isn't for like maybe not everybody's affected like that, but I think I am at least. So I wonder what damage social media is doing to us that we don't know about.
I think just about everybody is addicted to their phone. Like if you have an iPhone or any social media app, you're probably fairly addicted to it, and you don't even know it or you won't acknowledge it. One thing I was reading, so my sister just had her first kid, and I hear a lot of stories about parents who give their kids iPads. They're like iPad babies now and iPad kids. There's this one video I saw. This kid was on his iPad playing Minecraft. Next to him, he had a phone scrolling TikTok. So he would scroll, do something in Minecraft, scroll, do something in Minecraft.
That's killing you.
And like people go out and to shut their kids up. I get it to an extent. I mean, I don't have a kid, so I can't say I fully get it. But if you're out and your kid is making a fuss and you want them to stop, just go, oh, just give them an iPad. They'll play on that. But that has like that has consequences,
especially in a developing brain.
Exactly. So that kid is now the only thing to get them to stop is giving them an iPad, and with that iPad, they're releasing those
Dopamine,
endorphins,
serotonin, oxytocin.
Yeah, all the good stuff your brain wants, and now that's how you get them to stop, and then they're addicted to that device. When they don't have it, they freak out and they fucking are loud and annoying.
I mean, so basically, when they're doing that, you've seen the memes of like the people have like Family Guy playing here, Temple Run over here, an iPad in front of them. Have you seen those on Twitter?
Yeah.
That's kind of like that came from that, like that attention thing. Where was I going with this? Give me a second here. I've lost a lot of brain cells at work this week, so bear with me.
So have I. Haven't done shit.
Social media and the dopamine and like the chemical release. It's chemically similar to doing like cocaine, like a drug. The amount of chemicals that are released in your brain. So it's literally addictive. When you get a video, like you're looking for that hit, like you're basically a rat getting a piece of cheese, and now you're looking for the next one, and now you're looking for the next one, and now you need the next one, and now I need this, and I need this. It's the same thing. You get a hit after hit after hit after hit, and that's not natural to us, because you got to remember that we're still very primitive in our hardware. I like to say that we're like like modern computers running on like ancient hardware. Like so when you're doing that, remember 10, 20, 30, 40, 100,000 years ago, you didn't have that back to back to back to back to back release. So your brain's not set up for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the root of the problem, is we're just not evolved, I guess, to release that many pleasure chemicals that quickly in that much succession. You know what I mean? Like that hit, 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 hit. You didn't do that back when we were primates, even though we still are. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Stone Age and before.
I dated a girl, and she had these apps. So you would go on it, and you would just like click things, and it would give you points, and you could like redeem those points for like money back on something. So like, I guess in her mind it was, I'm saving money by doing this. But she had her phone, an extra phone, and an iPad all going at the same time.
Is she a drug dealer?
Dude, it was crazy to me that she would click on this and then go to this and then go to the iPad. And on one phone, she would watch these streams on TikToks that were a 10-minute countdown. And the longer you watched that stream, you would get these coins. They could like be exchanged for something, I don't know. But she would have one stream going here and then do this thing and then go down, go to the next stream, and go back up to the other one on the iPad, do the same thing. It was mind-blowing to me. I have never seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, that's insane.
It was absolutely crazy. And it was every day, multiple times a day.
It's got to be doing something.
It has to. Like, you can't reasonably focus on shit like that. It was mind-boggling to me. And I would just sit there and watch. I'm like, this is fucking, like, this is weird.
This is like an illness.
It is. I'm like, this is very strange.
Yeah.
We could be talking. You could literally just be watching television or anything else, but you're just so consumed with this like one thing. And that's what I'm like afraid. I mean, I'm not going to tell my sister how to parent her fucking kid, but I'm like, you probably should like not get your kid an iPad for multiple years.
Or be very strict with like.
Yeah, like, you hear about kids throwing tantrums when they're told to get off a thing, or when it does get taken away from them, they freak the fuck out.
You're taking their drug away.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're like little crackheads.
Yeah, imagine taking a crack pipe away from a crackhead. You know how bad they'd fucking be?
Mm-hmm.
They'd try to kill you. Yeah, I just, I feel like this is something that we're going to be talking about in like 20 years. Like, we should have known better. Like, man, we really fucked up here. But I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. Maybe it's not as damaging as we think it is. But you see, correlating along with these studies, a lot of these studies are realizing, well, it's not directly related to this, but like anxiety rates are up.
Depression's up.
Depression's up. Men and women are not dating as much anymore.
I see a ton of headlines about that. Like, less people are dating now. And
people are isolating.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's partly because of social media?
I think it can be. Well, like, you can connect with people now by not leaving your house.
Which is, I don't think that's a good thing if that's all you're doing.
If that's all you're doing, that's definitely not a good thing. I mean, I'm not the type of person to really go out and bar hop or things. Like, very occasionally I'll do it. But, I mean, what else did people do before social media and phones to go meet people? They went out and did shit. Now, you can just join a Discord server and meet people. I mean, that's cool. I do that. It's very cool that you can do that. But if that's your total supplementation for social interaction, then you have no idea how to physically interact with people. And that's a very important skill to have that I think a lot of kids might grow up with not having.
Yeah, moderation is key, basically.
Yes.
The takeaway here. I remember we were talking about maybe a few weeks back, like, how did people stay entertained in the 50s? Like, what do you play with a fucking stick and a rock? And
go out back and play with a stick until the bear eats you or whatever.
Right? But they were happier. Like, all the data and numbers point to them not being as stressed, depressed. So it was much easier for them to enjoy their day. It took a lot less, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, you didn't see, like, the 20-year-old with the Lamborghini. Like that. What if I see shit like that? I'm like, damn, he's doing a lot better than I am. Look at me, I'm at an airport doing a podcast, dude.
Yeah,
like, I didn't drive my Lamborghini here.
Lamborghini here.
Lamborghini here.
But you have to remember, I think people forget that social media is a highlight reel.
And that is important to always remember, but it's also very difficult to remember. Because if that's all you're fed, then you're like, fuck, dude, like, what am I doing wrong?
You become what you consume.
Yeah, and that just attributes to, like, depression, anxiety, and, well, fuck, well, I have to do something or I won't do anything.
Yeah, and I think that there is a serious mental health crisis, and I think maybe we approach it wrong sometimes. But I believe that that's part of it, social media, because imagine you're a kid, you're 13, 14 years old, and you're seeing this now. You're seeing, like, these people that are a few years older than you with these Lamborghinis. They're ripped. They're in great shape. Like, if they're a girl, they're healthy. They're hanging out with people. They're in Florida. They're in the Bahamas. They're all over the place. That's not reality. Like, people aren't going to post their lowlights on social media.
Yeah.
Very few. Because why would they? That's embarrassing. That doesn't show them in a good light. Because you got to remember that people want to put their best foot forward. And they want to make a good impression, and they're only going to post their best days. They might have maybe they had one good day, and then they had 30 bad days. You're only going to see the one good day. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe they're miserable in their relationship, their marriage. Maybe they have kids that beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? Like, they might have a really rough life, but they conceal it on social media, and that contributes to the crisis we're going through because we see that, wow, everybody's happy, everybody's fit, everybody's healthy. What the hell's going on here? That's not reality.
I mean, that's exactly what my Instagram is. It's just a highlight reel of things that I've done. Like, if you scroll through mine, you're like, oh, this guy goes to Japan. He goes to conventions. He's vending in a booth. He travels all over to these cities. But, like, that's in the span of multiple years.
Yeah.
You know, my daily life is not nearly that exciting.
Yeah, you really about here though. I never went to Japan.
You've been to other states. You've done other
In
things.
the Bahamas, that was cool.
I'm also, like, a Japanophile weeaboo fuckhead.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Japan is cool.
that's my, like, that's my mecca. Like, that's where I go.
Yeah, that's your forte.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where you're locked in.
I stay locked in Japan.
Not here though.
No, not in Ohio.
No.
You know, that's a bit that Gen Alpha is the not in Ohio. That's a meme.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's part of the sticking out your gat for the Rizzler. I don't know why I like that so much. I think it's because VTubers I watch made like renditions of it with other VTubers in like their generation. So I'm like, I know this person, I know that person. They're in that funny song. It's kind of catchy, so it's stuck in my head, and I'm saying it all day. Now
Yeah.
I'm in with the Gen Alpha humor. I think
It's such a weird I don't like that Gen Alpha. It's just weird.
Gen
Something
Alpha.
weird about it.
We were talking about that the other day on the other podcast,
Mm.
like the generations. I think we saw that they started after like World War II. That's when like generations of people got their names.
Like baby boomers, I think.
Yeah, like there was Gen X, Millennials, Gen Z, Alpha. I don't know if I'm missing any, but
Yeah, I forget there was one in the 80s and 90s maybe before that.
yeah,
70s.
it seems like every 12 to 14 years it's a new generation.
Do you think there's any merit behind that? Like, what does that stand for, I guess? That's what I'm saying.
I would say like they're
Culture?
okay.
What you
So
grew up with?
I work with Dennison like every day. He's
Mhm.
21. No, he's
You're
20. Yeah, him and Mitch actually are pretty good examples. They're 20, 21. I'm 25, so we're in different generations, but I don't really feel like we're that different. Honestly.
Yeah, but you can definitely pick up like
you
here
can
and there,
tell
you know.
a little bit
Mm.
when he talks about like what his high school was like, and then I think back to mine. I'm like, oh, it was fairly different.
Yeah.
Like I graduated high school before everyone started vaping, and then like after me, every kid was in the school bathroom vaping. I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. Like I didn't have to deal with that. That was not something I had to put up with.
Yeah, so like even us, like you graduated in 17, I was 15, but we're only 6 months apart. But like vaping wasn't like I don't remember people walking around like
No,
with an
it
issue
like
with it.
wasn't a thing.
But
yeah.
then within a span of a year or two, it blows up.
Like 2018, 2019, it
Yeah.
just blew the fuck up.
Yeah, not good.
Also, like, my sister notices this a lot since she's a teacher and she has to deal with kids. COVID, them being home and going to online school fucked with them pretty hard. They didn't get that social interaction. So now
COVID
that they're
fucked
back,
everything up.
yeah, now that they're back, and this can kind of tie into like the iPad kid type deal. They act out a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Like they're crazy kids. Well, I went to a private school, so I don't know if I really have a podium. What's the fucking phrase? A podium to stand on or whatever.
Yeah, I forget something like that.
So private school is generally known for being easier, I guess. The
I
pay
went
is
to
just
both,
shittier.
so maybe I can.
Yeah, you went to both way longer than I did. But we didn't really have kids act out too much. I mean, I'd say everyone was fairly respectful to the teachers, to the staff, so we didn't have a ton of problems. Maybe some kids were talking during class, and their teacher was like, be quiet. That was it. But when I went to McKinley, it was a lot worse, and not even like a crazy regard. There was more, maybe just because my camera issues. This is a work in progress to solve. We're working on it.
We're back in this bitch.
I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about.
Give me a second here.
Oh, I think it was
Social media, iPads.
no, like how COVID affects kids
Oh, yeah.
and they act out differently.
Yep, we were just getting into that.
Yeah, so at McKinley and St. Thomas and St. Pete's, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't horrible. But now, like what my sister tells me is kids are fucking crazy.
Mhm.
And like I said, maybe that was maybe it's more private school. The kids don't have as much structure at home. Maybe like I think at a private school, kids generally do, since there's tuition to be paid. The family might have to be more together and cohesive. Where in a private school, it's free game. Anyone can go.
Yeah. Private school, you mean public?
Yeah, public.
Yeah, I feel like I went to public school for a majority, and then I switched to private because I was a bad jit in 7th grade.
You were a bad kid.
Yes, in 7th grade I didn't have great grades and I was acting out. But I met a young man there and he was quite entertaining and they put us in the same classes together and sat us next to each other for like half the year. So we just goofed off the whole time. So I ended up getting switched to private school because I was being very
Disruptive people.
I wasn't like disrespectful. I just talk all day.
Did you? I don't want to off track it too much, but like, well, I'll save it. Go on.
No, I'm curious. Wait.
No, I was gonna say
Go for it.
ADHD. That seems to be like way more prevalent now. More diagnoses. I think because people know what to look for now, whereas boomers would go, back in my day, there was no ADHD. It was like, well, it was there. You just weren't diagnosed with it. And a lot of kids are given meds like, what are they given? Ritalin?
Ritalin's a popular Adderall.
Adderall, yeah.
And generic versions of that, basically.
Were you ever diagnosed with ADHD?
ADD. But I was very young, and sorry.
It's all good.
I was very young.
You can answer. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah, tell mom I love her.
How nice.
Where were we?
ADD.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with ADD maybe around 10, 11, right around 7th grade. Like, I think it was during that. And I remember they offered to put me on medication. Like, they talked to my mom about it. But I think she thankfully decided not to do it after learning about it and instead put me in, like, counseling. Which I'm fortunate for because I think that did help me.
The counseling or the lack of meds?
Both. I think that I don't know if I even believe in like ADD or ADHD. Like I do, but I don't. I think that's just a kid with a lot of energy that people don't know how to handle them. I mean, I think there's maybe extreme cases, but I think a lot of people that have ADHD just have a lot of energy that they need to release in a different way. I've researched it a little bit. I don't know a whole lot about it, so don't quote me on that.
I don't either. I don't know shit.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, I was put in counseling instead, and I'm thankful for that because in 9th grade, when I went to private school, that's when I went to St. Thomas, there was a kid that was extremely hyper. His name was Kyle.
This was at St. Thomas?
Yes. You might know him.
Bigger dude?
Yeah.
Was he bald, kind of? Shaved head?
I don't remember if he was in 9th.
Does the last name start with a K?
Maybe. Was it like a Polish, like, maybe last name? I forget his last name. I'm almost certain you're talking about.
This dude was 2 years ahead of me. I think you would have been 2 years ahead of me. I guarantee it's him.
That's him. Was he very outgoing when you met him?
I didn't talk to him a lot.
This is relative to what I'm going to get into.
But he had this. What is a good word to describe this? He seemed when he got on a subject he liked, he could go on about it.
So you would hyper focus.
I would say so.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So this young man was extremely hyper, extremely outgoing. I mean, like to the point of where it was disruptive. Like this was an extreme side of it. So I remember one day he came in and was like a zombie. I mean, like 100% different person. And his eyes were real low. He was real, like, kind of wonky. Like something was just off. I thought he was high.
I mean, that sounds like it would be.
Totally. But then he started going on about the pills that his parents put him on. It was Ritalin. Or a form of it. And he was pulling out the bottle and everything like that. And this dude was just zonked. And I remember thinking, like, damn, like, that's crazy that did that to him. Because he was so outgoing. Like, this settled his ass right down. Like, it worked, whatever it was. But yeah, it was interesting to see the but he was almost like you could just there's like nothing there. You know what I mean? Like
Just like a shell of a person.
kind of like a shell of a person. Like there was no like negative, but there was no positive. I guess he was very monotone, like this. Yeah, I just put me on these pills. Like it was bizarre. So I'm just happy that I was put on them because I feel like they take the personality out of the person a little bit.
That's what kind of scares me about those things, and they're giving them to a lot of fucking kids. Like,
Give him fentanyl,
yeah, like just a gram of fentanyl.
bro.
That's enough to kill like 100 humans.
Dude.
But I think it kind of takes the person out of the person. I would be afraid that it would change me as a person totally.
And you not
that
being
makes
like,
me not being like aware of it. That scares me a little bit, and I feel the same way about depression meds. And I do want to dig more into this because I have some friends who are on them, and he was like, yeah, dude, I'm an open book. If you want to ask me anything, do it. So I'd like to pick his brain a little bit, but it does make me nervous.
I was on Prozac when I was 13.
Is Prozac a depression med?
Antidepressant.
Did you feel different when you were on it versus when you were not on it?
I didn't take it for long, maybe a month. I did not like it, but I wouldn't say that I was like zombified, I guess is the word, but maybe muted a little more. It was maybe it affects everybody differently, so maybe it affects person A more than person B. You know what I mean? For me, it was I just remember it was only for a month, and it was like a very confusing time in my life. There's a lot going on, and that's why I was on them. So my memory's foggy, but I just kind of remember it being like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, I didn't have I don't know how to explain it, like the edge that I normally did. It maybe took like the edge off of like my personality, but it wasn't crazy. But I have heard of stories where people take that and they become like just a gray cloud, I guess. Not that they're both. Okay, so if you want to dive into this, I like this topic.
I'm very curious.
So this will take us into something. So and the way antidepressants work, because I took them later in life, I was fascinated by them. Like, what do they do? Like, how do they work? The negative thing about antidepressants is that, say you're going through a rough time, you're depressed or whatever's going on, that you need them. They help you with your negative mood. Like they block the negative. They can block the negative. But at the same time as blocking the negative, they take away the positive. So like your highs are not as high and your lows are not as low.
It's like it
Sedative
neutrals you
almost.
out a little bit.
Yeah, it basically just neutrals you out, turns you gray. So instead of instead of being colorful or black, you're gray now. I didn't mean it like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, I think that there's better alternatives out there, and one of these things,
Taking a walk, getting
would
some
be
fresh air.
exercising. Yep, taking a walk, fresh air, eating healthy, positive mindset, better habits. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of things that you can get into that would help you more than this magic pill.
Those are kind of like memes that I see from people who say they're depressed or are depressed. They're like, people just say take a walk and clear your mind. This is low-key playing devil's advocate to that, but I feel like that's a lot easier to say than do, because I'm not depressed. I don't know what that's like. I can imagine it's probably very difficult to get in the mindset of I got this today. Today's the day. Yeah, like that's probably pretty difficult when people say they just can't get out of bed. So, it's a difficult situation. Like, how do you even begin to combat that
I get it.
You can't even get on your feet to go for the walk or get outside?
But do you feel like the medication is motivating them, or is it just blocking that
That's
feeling?
what makes me like kind of weirded out by it, because it doesn't solve the problem. It just puts it to the back burner, and then when you get off of those, it comes right back.
Yep.
And then also the thing like depression is it a physical thing? Is it a chemical imbalance in your brain can you even solve it if you have it?
That's a really good question. I think our understanding of depression will change significantly in the next 20 to 50 years.
Yeah.
I might have a hot take on it that is not
I'm here
popular.
for it.
I think that depression can be solved without any medication. I don't know if that's a very hot take, but some people will get mad at you for that. 100%. I think that the medication itself does not motivate you. I don't remember ever being motivated. I was just normal, just less.
Just less like sad.
Yeah, I guess. Man, sometimes you just gotta kick yourself in the butt and just start somewhere. Whether that's making your bed, small things.
Yeah.
Cleaning your room. If you have a cluttered room, that reflects on your what's going on inside your head. And I remember when I was younger, I'd have a messy room. Whenever I cleaned it, my day would get better. It was small things.
It's not just that it's clean; it's that you did the cleaning.
You did the effort.
That's an accomplishment. You just got done.
And you can see your effort put into work. Like you can visually see, oh, look what I just did. I did something, and it resulted in something good.
Mm-hmm.
So start very small, and work your way up. I think that it's a discipline issue as well. I think people lack discipline to get out and do things. Like I know I've lacked discipline for a long time. I've recently gotten a lot better at it. But like with working out, like remember I would work out and then I rely on motivation. I'd lose my motivation, and then I don't work out anymore. I think that that's where I went wrong with that. I think a lot of people go wrong with motivation.
They think motivation. They're like, I get asked fairly frequently, like, how do you have the motivation to go to the gym every day? I'm like, I don't. I do not have the motivation to go. I have the discipline to go. Motivation is there for like a day, and then it's gone.
Yep.
And then you have to find more motivation. But you have to have discipline to do that shit every day.
That goes for any healthy habit.
That goes for like anything in general.
Who wants to eat chicken and rice? And you know what I mean?
Nobody wants to eat that shit every day. You can make it taste great, but if you're eating the same goddamn thing every day, it's like, this is boring and it sucks.
Yeah, motivation is temporary. Discipline is forever.
Yeah, I see. I kind of want to talk about the gym now.
All right, let's go.
Kind of got me on the gym.
I've been recently working out, so I'm in the game.
That's great. I always get this pet peeve of mine. I'll get DMs on Instagram from random ass people, and they'll say like, "Dude, you should help me with my workout routine and all that stuff." And at first, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like I wrote people month-long plans with exercise routines, dieting based on what they told me.
Mm-hmm.
It would take me like days to write these things, and I would send them to the people for free. Wouldn't charge them a fucking dime. And then I'll like get in touch with them later, and they're like, "Oh, I've been so busy, I couldn't really do it." I'm like, then why did you have me waste my fucking time writing this thing for you, dude?
Yeah.
If you're not gonna fucking do it.
I can see where the frustration comes.
I've gotten multiple of those, and I've done it multiple times. So if anyone does it like anymore, I'm just gonna be like, "Are you actually gonna fucking do this? Like, am I wasting my time on you?" And it kind of sounds like a dick move, but
It's not.
I don't want to waste my time writing a plan for you when you're not even going to do it. You don't have the discipline to do it. You say you have the motivation. At that time, I get it takes courage to message a random person on Instagram to help you and work with you, but Christ, have the balls to go fucking do it, dude.
Yeah, I think saying something is way different than doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've been there before where I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking work out this week, man. I'm going to kill it. And then that day comes, and you make an excuse for yourself. Oh, man, I think I pulled a muscle. Man, I got to take a year off.
Yeah.
It's very easy to trick yourself out of it sometimes.
It's so easy to find a reason to not go.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of days where I get home from work and I'm like, fuck. Like, I don't want to go. Like, it's fucking back today. Right now, I don't really feel like training back. I don't really want to go. But there's like one feeling is like a huge dopamine hit for me. It's like walking out of the gym to my car. I just think about that. I'm like, oh, I did the thing. I went and I did it. And that is like a huge dopamine hit for me. So if I'm feeling unmotivated to go, or I sit at home, I'm like, fuck this. I think about walking out of the gym and I'm like, I will feel so much better if I go to the gym now and leave after my workout than sitting here in my room and probably taking an hour and a half long nap. But I'll wake up from that feeling like dog shit, or if I go to the gym, I'll leave feeling like I did something.
Just thinking ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that.
But it is fucking hard. It's crazy hard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think visualizing that and that feeling, like just visualize, man, I'm going to feel great. I'm going to look great. My day's going to be better if I go to the gym. That's a very powerful thing, whether it's the gym or something smaller. I think that can help people a lot. But yeah, I think that they get stuck into like a negative loop. Like, man, I don't want to do this because this is happening today. And instead of focusing on what they could be doing, they're focusing on that one little negative thing to avoid going to the gym or doing something like a walk, a run, eating a healthy meal, just going out and socializing. You know what I mean? Like some people set up plans for like a week or two. They get in their head, they get psyched out, and they make an excuse.
Yeah, they cancel.
Oh, I can't go. Just go. Please. You'll be better off. You're going to be happy you went 9 times out of 10.
And the difficult thing with it, I know a lot of people say, it's like, how do you make friends? It's very difficult to make friends and maintain friends. It is, as like an adult. But if someone invites you to something, and I'm guilty of this, Isaac at work, like it was years ago, he would invite me out to things, and I would get nervous, and I would say no. I'm like, dude, I don't know any of these people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, am I even gonna have fun? Like, am I gonna say stupid shit? And I wouldn't go. If you say no, probably more than 2 times, you're not gonna get invited anymore.
100%.
So you have to, if you want to maintain friendships and relationships socially with people, you have to say yes. You have to. It's so important to it.
And don't burn bridges before you build them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're gonna stop inviting you because they know you're the guy that says no.
Yeah, if you keep saying no, like why would they invite you out again? Like you're just gonna tell them no. That's the mindset. It's nothing personal. That's your fault.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I already know what this person's gonna say.
Yeah.
So what's the point in wasting my time?
And I know that anxiety is a very real thing, and a lot of people struggle with that. But you're gonna deal with anxiety regardless. Like, why not just go out and enjoy your day, or try to?
Mm-hmm.
If you have to leave early, leave early. Tell them, hey, I have to go. Something came up. But at least you went out and you did the thing, you know? So, yeah, I feel like, just go have fun. Don't think. I think that thinking
is like the worst thing for you.
problematic because you overthink.
I'm a habitual overthinker.
Oh, yeah.
Very bad.
Especially at night.
Night's pretty bad. I also get bad anxiety if I have too much caffeine. That's why I cut back on pre-workout a lot. And I would just sit at my computer desk. And instead of doing something, I would think about all the things I had to do and just get in my own head. I'm like, fuck, I have to do this thing. I have to do this thing. And then an hour and a half would pass. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I thought about doing it. Now I'm more anxious because I didn't do it. And I know what I have to do.
Even when I take, like, say I take a short nap after work, I wake up with, like, a pit in my stomach.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, like, fuck. Like, I just ruined my day. And it's worse than if I had just gone out and done something or, you know what I mean? Like, it feels horrible.
One thing, I also have a terrible habit of coming home from the gym. Like, typically, I'll go to the gym. I like to be in there by 3 o'clock. Come home, shower, eat, and then by around 5 o'clock, I'm like, okay, this is my chill time from 5 to 6. I can watch YouTube videos. But, like, when 5:15 hits, I'm watching, like, a YouTube video, I get a little drowsy. And I think, man, that bed sounds fucking nice. So I'll go nap, and then it's 7 o'clock, and I am so pissed off at myself. That's, like, 3 times a week, and I hate it. I really have to I have to build the discipline to not get in my fucking bed and nap.
If anybody can do it, it's you. Because your ability to go to the gym every day when you don't want to is something I envy. I wish I could do that.
They say it takes, like, what, 20-something days to build a habit?
Yeah.
If you keep it up for that long, it just becomes second nature to you.
I've been working out for maybe, like, a month and a half consistently, and 100% it's getting easier. Like, I days off that I don't want, like, now. But hopefully that's now. Maybe in 6 months I stopped. But hopefully not.
It just becomes part of your routine.
Yeah.
That's what you do in the day now.
Should I drop a funny gym story?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and genitals.
Is this home gym or actual?
This is actually going to the gym.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm down for it.
Okay. So, long story short, I was maybe 18 years old, and I made a horrible decision.
All right.
I don't do this anymore, but I decided to get high before I went to the gym. I think I've told you this story.
I think so.
Right. Man, at 18, I already had bad anxiety. I don't really have it anymore, like nearly as bad. But when you combine that with anxiety with public, it's a recipe for disaster. So, anyways, I'm stoned in the gym. I'm already nervous walking in the door. Everybody in my head knows I'm fucked up.
Everyone's looking at
Everyone's
you.
looking at me. They all know this guy's stoned. You're going to jail, Kyle. Fuck. All right. So I'm like, all right, I got to act cool. I got to play cool. So I go in the locker room. I compose myself. I go to the worst possible place I could probably start at. There's gigantic mirrors, and I'm standing directly in front of them. And everybody in Planet Fitness is behind me. We're talking 3:30, 4 o'clock, 100, 150
Busy as
people.
fuck. Just crazy busy.
Yep. So I'm doing curls in the mirror with like 5 pounds. Anyways, I'm doing curls in the mirror, and I look up, and everybody's looking at me. Fuck. I gotta get out of here. Fuck. But I can't do it too fast. So I'm trying to play it cool, and I'm doing my set. I'm like, fuck. 1, 2, 3, trying to get to 10. And then I realized I can feel every muscle fiber in my fucking arms.
That mind-muscle connection must have been
It was
crazy.
absurd, dude. But everything's tearing in my mind. Like, I'm fucking stoned. So every time I do a curl, I'm tearing fibers. I'm tearing like tendons. Like I swear I can feel this. So I'm like, fuck. I'm freaking out here. My face is getting red. I'm starting to sweat. So I just fucking beeline it out of there, dude. Never go to the gym high, because everybody's looking at you. You're probably gonna go to prison. At least you think you are.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah. They changed the laws in Ohio. But yeah, it was a horrible experience. Kind of funny to look back on, though. Because everybody's doing their own thing. They're all thinking about themselves.
Did you smoke leaf, or was it like a dab pen or something?
This was a dab pen. I think this was the Steezies. Like the little concentrate pens or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was my weapon of choice, because it was before I went to the gym, so I wasn't going to smoke a blunt in the parking lot.
Yeah, the smell doesn't stay on you. I was going to say, if it was leaf, anytime someone comes into the gym and they smoke, you can smell it on them. Like, it is such a pungent smell.
They have no idea. Some of them might.
Maybe they do, but I feel like most of the time they don't. But holy shit, they make the locker room smell. The whole thing smells like fucking pot. I'm like, bro, just chill for a second.
Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, where were we?
This is something about the last weightlifting thing I'll talk about. It's ego lifting. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. I was at the gym probably last month, and I've noticed a lot of like, not kids in there, but like 19, 20-year-olds. And this one kid, probably 19 or 20, was benching, and he asked for a spot. So I spot him, and on the last set, in the last couple reps, he's struggling, which is fine. And I encourage him. I don't touch the bar. He gets it up, but it was kind of rough. I'm like, all right, yeah, good set. I go back to what I'm doing, and the machine I'm on is directly behind the bench press he's on. He had on like 135 on there when he was doing that, and then he put on 50 more pounds, and he didn't come and ask me for a spot. And so I was watching, and I'm like, this isn't a good idea. I'm like, why did you not come ask me for a spot? So I didn't start my set yet, because I knew he was starting soon. I'm like, if this dude drops the weight on his throat, I'm going to jump up there and try and get it off his fucking throat. So he's struggling to get this weight in the last reps, and I'm like this close to hopping out of my seat. Like, this guy's going to hurt himself if he doesn't do anything about this. And he's stuck there. He's really struggling to get up. He eventually gets it up. But in my mind, I feel like if you know no one is there watching you, you get like some superhuman strength a little bit, and you're like, okay, I'm going to fuck up real bad. I need to do something. That might have been what was going through his mind. I was just like really perplexed that he asked me for a spot on the lighter weight that he struggled with, but he put on 50 more pounds and struggled with it more and didn't ask for a spot.
Maybe he was trying to catch you by surprise.
I don't know, dude.
He was calling you weak.
He might have been.
But this dude can't spot me on 185. This guy's small.
Oh, fuck him. I'll beat
Dude,
his
bro's
ass.
calling you small. Go back and kick his ass.
Damn, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to
Yeah.
find him.
Let's jump him.
Yeah, I'm going to take his phones.
Yeah, take his phone, too.
But if you're struggling with ask for a spot, you don't need to look like a jackass.
Yeah.
And I failed not too long ago. And this big motherfucker in the gym came over to help me.
It feels good when they help. It's like, yeah, thanks, dude.
I mean, I felt like a jackass.
Oh, yeah.
But he came over to help. He's a super nice guy. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, so he's struggling. Came over to help. He's like, you good? Everything cool? I'm like, yeah, thanks for helping. I'm a dumbass, but
It happens.
I'll move on. Yeah, I'd rather get helped than drop the weight in my throat and make some weird noises and dump the weight on the floor.
Yeah, do you put the clips on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do because
Maybe there's people there, so, if you have an issue.
I was lifting with my friend Matt one day at Powerhouse. This is like when I first got my membership. I was like 18 years old. And he had on 2 plates. He didn't put the clips on. And his right arm was significantly stronger than his left arm. And the weight started dumping off. So one end went down, the plates went off, the other end shoots up and he dumps
Fast
the weight.
as fuck.
Yeah, and the staff came running out to check and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, dude.
Man,
I was like,
come
dude,
on,
you made us look fucking stupid.
I look dumb.
I was like, we're the youngest guys in here. You made us look fucking like losers, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I use clips, because I don't
agree.
want to dump the weight like that.
I work out by myself. I have like a whole ass setup in my basement, like squat rack and all. So I have to be careful. I don't use clips, and I never max. Like I never will do a 1 rep max. It's just stupid.
That's dumb as fuck. That's a great way to hurt yourself.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, nothing. Look at the studies. So many of them. Hypertrophy is the most hypertrophy is between I think 12 and 30 repetitions. So you're not going to see much. I mean, strength is up to 5, but 3 to 5. But yeah, 1 is just for your ego. That's ego lifting.
And that's so stupid.
Unless you're in a powerlifting contest, that's different.
If you're powerlifting, it's fine. If you're lifting weights to look good, you're an idiot.
I agree, and I have been an idiot before.
I've done 1 rep max. I was like, how much can I get on this? Like 275? Like I'm a baller.
We caught it
I think it. We're back.
again.
Yeah, so we kind of figured out a little thing.
Automatic 30-minute shut off.
That is
Kinda
the furthest it goes. Actually, so with the Sonys we had, we could install shit on it to make it film for like 13 hours straight. But the issue is it would overheat. I wonder if there's something I can do with this. Like install something to make the auto shut off either disabled or longer. We'll have to look into that.
For sure.
But
All right, so we're like 13 hours in. So it's time to get to the good stuff
yeah,
because we have not yet. We've been bullshitting.
we'll just keep our eyes over there.
We've been vibing. So in the last few days,
Yeah, hot news just dropped.
big news, huge if true. Epstein,
The man, the myth.
the list is getting dropped. The album's getting leaked.
Bro, Epstein, dude leaked Epstein in GTA 6. That's why he went to jail.
Yeah, you put your life in prison.
Life.
A hospital prison, or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck that means.
That's fucking crazy, but
But, anyways, that's another topic.
young man Epstein.
Young man Epstein, my boy, not my boy. Whoa.
Are you on the list?
I don't know or associate with him. Anyways, what do you think that there's going to be any names on there that we're going to go, whoa?
I already heard there was a name for a person who owns an NFL team. I can't remember what team it was, but I heard that the NFL commission was planning on getting rid of him.
Was it Roger Goodell?
No, not Goodell.
Oh, I wonder if it was the Washington Commanders coach. Because maybe Dan Snyder was his name. He just
Dan
got,
Snyder?
like, the Nickelodeon.
Yeah, Dan freaking Schneider.
Pretty sure that's his name. Yeah. The feet guy.
He's something. Anyway, you think it's the Washington Redskins?
I don't know. Hey, watch it. Redskins.
Oh, that's right. It's the, I don't keep up with football
Unreal,
at
man.
all.
Unreal.
They're the Commanders now.
Yeah, Commanders.
I mean,
Yeah, look at it. It might be because I remember they just fired him. I think
NFL. Oh, it was an NFL owner
he was an owner.
on Epstein list. A viral rumor surfaced that Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper was on Jeffrey Epstein's list, implying that the embattled team leader was part of a conspiracy that involved harming children.
All right, Dan Snyder, you're exonerated.
It appears to be fake.
Oh,
I don't know. We'll find out after the fucking list comes out.
Yeah, if it is or isn't, the people that are going to get dropped they're going to be directly involved. Like have they been prosecuted, or you know what I mean? Have there any legal process going on with them, or just a list that hearsay? You know what I mean?
What I think about the whole Epstein case is that it involves people so high up that we're never going to get to the bottom of it.
Because it would collapse everything.
Yeah, like there will be names on that list of people who did horrible things that are in positions of power, that were in positions of power, that can determine whether or not people get prosecuted. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we'll see that, honestly. Epstein did not kill himself. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck what people say. He didn't do it. Too many coincidences.
Cameras.
But everyone forgot about, what was that girl's name who was with him?
The woman?
Yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell?
Everyone kind of forgot about her.
Yeah.
I know she got charged. She's in prison. But
she was above him.
Yeah, like she's a big name in this. She's a huge player, and nobody dug further into this than prosecuting her.
Her dad was Israeli intelligence. Boom.
They have connections. They have power.
Huge connections, dude.
They can do what they want and not get in trouble. I mean, she did, but probably not to the extent that she should have. Or she knows things that she won't say, that people won't press her on. They won't look into it.
Why didn't they suicide her? Like, why Epstein? Was it like a display of power maybe with Epstein? Like, hey, look what will happen?
It could have been. To my knowledge, I don't think she was blackmailing like Epstein was.
She was recruiting.
Yeah, I think she was just getting people, but he had dirt on politicians and everyone in high-ranking positions. Like, you did this thing, you should do what I say. I have it on video.
Yeah. Blackmail. That was the whole scheme. So, what was I going to say? Oh, Epstein. A lot of people say he didn't kill himself. I agree he didn't kill himself. A lot of people think he was killed. My theory is that he was escaped, like he got an escape somehow, like they took him out.
I think he got out.
I can't think of the word for it, but yeah, just I don't think that he was killed.
I think he's still out there somewhere?
I think he's still out there. I think he was intelligence. I don't know if he was working with Israeli intelligence, the Mossad, I don't know, FSB. I think he was working with some intelligence agency.
The CIA, they have a track record of a lot of very good things, and they just treat people great.
Operation No Man.
You know,
Let's stay on topic here.
The CIA kind of, I think, can fall into this for sure.
No, 100%. You got to think if you're the CIA, there's no way FBI, CIA, whoever, Mossad, any of them, there's no way that you're not in contact with these people, getting evidence and blackmail, and there's no way that you're not in on this somehow. We know that, well, this might be a hot topic too, but we know that the CIA most likely used child prostitutes as blackmail.
I would 100% not be surprised.
There's a lot of there was people that came out that were high ranking that literally said that anonymously, but that's very believable. Like there's no way that they don't know about this, because he had been arrested, released, and sent back, and after he was arrested for sex trafficking, people like Bill Gates was still in connection with him. Like he was still going to dinner with him. I mean, not just Bill Gates. There was a whole bunch of them. Like, that's insane.
think Clinton was on there.
Clinton?
Bill Clinton. So these papers that are being released, what is it, next year?
They say any day now. I was reading something on Twitter today. But most likely like January, early January.
We've seen flight logs of people who flew, was it on Epstein's jet to the island?
Yeah.
We've seen those. So this new list of people, what exactly is this? Is this people who associated with Epstein, had connections with him, did something to be on this list? Do we know what this is?
I don't know exactly. If I had to guess, take it with a grain of salt. There has to be some sort of deep connection with these people to get publicly name dropped by a court system. Like there's something there. So, most likely a majority of them were directly involved with this sex trafficking, in my opinion. I don't know, but if I had to guess, or else they wouldn't be allowed out, because they're withholding 3 names. There's 150.
They're withholding names.
There's 150 that will be released, and there's 3 that they're withholding. Mm-hmm.
That's sus. That's really fucking sus.
So, why are they withholding?
Why did they take so long to release these names?
Yeah, and were there other names taken off? I think that there's not going to be any names that... I think they're going to an extent. I don't think you're going to see Bill Gates. Personally, I might be wrong. I don't think you're going to see these... these
huge figureheads?
These monopoly type figures. They're just... It's too powerful. I think there's power above the president and the government as we know it, and they are that.
Well, I mean, if we want to look at the UAP stuff, there's already government oversight. Yeah. They're already doing things outside of what the president knows.
And they're doing things outside of their legal power.
Yeah.
Like, I think that withholding certain information from the public or from certain, like, Senate maybe or whoever it was, I remember hearing that that's, like, literally illegal. If they request it, legally you have to give it to them, I think. And they were refusing, which is outside of their bounds. And I cannot remember the senator's name. He died, I think, not that long ago. Where he went and asked to see whatever it was, and he had the legal right to do so.
Oh, I think it was like the governor of Arizona or something.
Might have
somewhere
been
in somebody. That southwest area.
And they denied him access to this, which is not within their power. Like, they're not allowed. By law, have to give him access to it, I believe. So, like you're saying, we already know they're operating outside of their power. So, I don't know. I think that's very interesting. So, we know that shit's corrupt. Shit's fucked up. Like, we don't know how deep it goes. It's pretty bad. But with the Epstein stuff, that's crazy. Like, let's just, like, take a step back here. You know what I mean? Like,
this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, gets arrested. And supposedly he has this whole sex trafficking ring connected to extremely wealthy, powerful people. And he has videos of them, like fucking kids. Audio, doing abhorrent things. And he can blackmail them. And these people are just living their daily lives in power with lots of money. That's nutty. That's a fucking thing. And that no one knows about it.
Let's talk about when he gets caught and what happens.
He gets arrested. Supposedly there are names of people he's associated with. Nothing happens to them. Mm-hmm. They're fine. He dies while in custody.
Well, he gets put on suicide watch, taken off suicide watch. Cameras go out.
Guards aren't there.
He somehow acquires 9 or more jumpsuits, which, according to, like, prisoners, is odd. And hangs himself. The break in his neck was, I believe there was 2 autopsies done on him, and I believe it was an autopsy that they did. That the guy said that he's seen this break, like, multiple times before, and it's not indicative of a hanging. I don't know if you've heard about that.
You think about a jail cell for a minute. The ceilings, he didn't do it from a ceiling. There's nothing off his bunk bed.
His top bunk, yeah.
How do you even break your neck from that height on jumpsuits? I don't know how fragile the neck is.
I mean, it's fragile, but at the same time,
like, I would think you would die from asphyxiation instead of a neck break.
Well, the trauma that occurred to his neck was weird. It's like, imagine getting in a car accident and the damage was, say you get in a car accident and you tell the police, I was going the speed limit, I was going 25, but your car was fucking cut in half.
You weren't going 25.
You weren't going 25. That doesn't make any sense. That's not indicative of a 25-mile-an-hour accident. Something's wrong. That's the same analogy you can use for his injury, I guess you could say. That's not indicative of a 5-6 foot drop from a bunk bed. It's very bizarre. And I just don't think he died. I don't even think he died, so I don't even believe it. I don't even know what to believe. I mean, who knows how do you know what to believe?
We'll never know. That's the thing, because the people who associate with this guy have so much power. They made sure that nobody knows. They can make it look, and they can do such a sloppy job where it looks really fucking suspicious. But as long as they say like, yeah, it's cool.
Who's going to stop?
Yeah, no one has the power to stop them.
What are you
If
and I
they're
gonna do?
going above the government,
That's a problem.
and then the girl he associates with, Ghislaine Maxwell, gets arrested, and that's hot news for like a week, and now you don't hear about it.
I think that, I believe Tucker Carlson, for example, said that, like, after he got fired from Fox, said that they didn't want to report on it anymore. Like, they were almost shadow banned from reporting on it.
Which is fucking crazy because
along with other networks.
why would a media company not want something that is such a hot topic at the moment? That would bring them so many clicks, views, and they're just like, we're not gonna mess with this.
The powers that be. BlackRock, Vanguard.
Someone's pulling some strings
Someone
somewhere.
pulls some strings. They own Fox and CNN
BlackRock.
and Vanguard. I think one owns the majority of one, the other one owns the majority of the other. So I think that there's people we don't even know exist
There are 100%.
100%.
There has to be.
that are more powerful than anybody that we know exists. And they pull strings. I just want to know who. I'm just a curious guy, you know? Like,
I want to know
I'm nosy.
like exactly what this guy did, the people he associated
How far
with.
does it go back?
Exactly. Like
How many more are there?
where's the tree branches here? I want
Tip
to
of the
know all
iceberg.
the branches.
So you're telling me that this massive multi-billion-dollar industry, there's only one fucking island? Bullshit. There's got to be more. I mean, we know there's more, but there's got to be more very similar blackmailing the elite or having the elite visiting these islands. There's got to be taboo things that we just don't know about.
Yeah, like if they wanted to cross their T's and dot their I's, there's definitely more places that nobody knows about. Like maybe, for example, that's gross. It's all the sugar, you
It's
know.
Red Bull.
Maybe they made this place public as a front to get people to say, oh, that's the place where Epstein went. Like,
Look
that's the
over
one
here.
place.
Yeah.
Yet there's 10 other islands or locations that nobody's going to ask questions about because they got the answer they wanted. This is the place where it happened.
Mm, that's possible. That makes sense to me. Because they're diverting attention.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that this came out publicly is a red flag, I guess, in a way.
Like, they're dangling candy in front of the public.
Yeah, and we're buying it. But then we just give up on it, forget about it. Like, nobody does anything.
Because the
You can't do
the
anything.
news isn't reporting on it.
Yeah.
If a huge media company like Fox or CNN doesn't report on it, people aren't going to see it. They're going to forget about it. I mean, most people get their news from things like that.
Yeah.
So if no one's seeing it, it'll just fade away from the public's attention.
I think if the people got together and wreaked some havoc in the right places, not inciting anything. I'm just saying, not violent. Let's not do a January 6th.
Bro, it's almost the
riot.
anniversary.
Well, hey, big day coming up, guys. We should make like a holiday.
January 6th.
Hope we get it off for work. Anyways, what was I saying? Not thinking about holiday from work.
Fuck, what were you saying?
Damn, my brain is fucked up today. Talking about
You're talking about the media.
Oh, anyway, I know what I'm talking about. Back on track here. If people got together in like mass quantity, you know, like the BLM riot, things like that. Not riot, don't riot. Peaceful. If people got together and demanded, like in mass, like at Capitol Hill, the White House, wherever, I think that eventually the noise would be so loud they would have to be confronted. So I think there might be stuff that we can do, but at that point, like, do they do something? Do they pull a string now with the people and shut them up? You just don't know what they're capable of. Like, how far are they willing to go? Are they willing to, like, hurt rioters or protesters? Are they willing to...
Probably, like, America has destroyed and totaled countries in the name of stopping communism, so why not?
And we've invaded countries in the name of taking their things and claiming they had nuclear weapons when they did not. So,
America knows no bounds when it comes to things they want to keep hidden
yeah.
or get what they want.
I wonder, like, how far do you think, like, these elites that we say, the people in power, how far do you think this goes back? Like, when did this massive amount of power and corruption start?
In my opinion, it started with the military-industrial complex after World War II. The way I look at it is like we won World War II, and then America got a big dick. They wanted to swing it around and show
12
everybody.
incher.
Yeah, like maybe even
Monster.
14. You have
With a Snickers vein in it.
the Soviets on one end of the spectrum, dominating in their sphere, dominating, and then America on the other. Like, they won the war, they have all this money now, and after the military-industrial complex, people really started getting a big head and getting powerful. I mean, we even had a president warn about the military-industrial complex.
Kennedy.
No, it was before Kennedy. It was fucking.
Eisenhower?
It was Ike. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Yeah, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Be like Ike, who was a general, a extremely high-ranking general in World War II, and this guy, who fought in the military, is like, hey, this military-industrial complex thing, we got to be wary of that. If the guy who fought in the military is warning about it, that should say something, shouldn't it?
Absolutely.
That's when I think America got power hungry after World War II.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, I think that's a great point. I don't know a lot about the military-industrial complex. That's your forte. But how do certain people rise to power? I mean, yeah, I guess that's a bad question because, like, your Adolf Hitler's, like, it's maybe the same method or form of it. Like,
His was a little more forceful,
uh,
but I guess you can get some takeaways from it. Whereas Hitler said he wanted to take Austria, and he walked into Austria, and other countries were like, "That's bad. Don't do that." They didn't do anything to stop him from doing it. So maybe these people said, "Well, maybe we want to do this. Like this can make us some more money. Let's do that." And then there's no pushback.
so pushing boundaries.
Yeah, and you go a little further, you take it a little further each time, and still nobody's pushing back. So then you get all the way up to the top, and then you start building the ladder, and you keep going up.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Yeah, I think that also the intelligence agencies, once that they came about, I think that's when you saw a lot more corruption as well. I think that goes hand in hand. But yeah, it starts with that, I believe. But then there's also theories that it goes back, like bloodlines. You ever hear that?
What do you think about names like Clintons?
Rothschilds.
Yeah, the Rothschilds, Clintons, Kennedys.
Royal family. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know if I believe that, but that is an interesting theory. Like, is there certain families or groups that have been in power for a long time that I kind of think so.
There already have been, like,
Yeah.
you could say like the Kennedys are like a dynasty of powerful individuals.
Yeah, these people aren't going to just give up their power.
No, because they have it.
Yeah, they have to keep going. Like, why would they? Man, I don't feel like taking over anything right now.
I'm good. I want to go work a day job.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
No, because they're rich as fuck.
They're
And
corrupt.
like we talked about last week, money corrupts and power corrupts.
They're sociopaths. No empathy. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder where it starts. And just man, you just wish that you knew these things and that there was more information. But everything is so hidden. I mean, even Google censors certain topics. I remember, like YouTube, for example. Back in like 2012, maybe, I learned about Bohemian Grove, the place that they go to worship that giant owl. It's basically the elites go to worship a giant owl. They have some weird sacrifices, owl named Moloch. They burn an effigy of a child. It's very bizarre. I mean,
Even one, I can't remember which president it was. It might have been
Roosevelt?
Nixon. It might have been
No.
Nixon.
It was Nixon.
He said like that was the gayest thing I've ever seen.
There was there was some interesting people there, very powerful people that have been like confirmed there, members. Anyways, I remember on YouTube, hearing about it and watching. I think it was Alex Jones.
Yeah, he filmed it.
And it was all over YouTube. It was all over. You could find a bunch of these videos, people talking about it. And I remember maybe 5 years ago, so like 2018-ish, maybe 2017, 2018, trying to find it again. Gone. I'm talking dozens of videos. just abolished from YouTube.
Scrub it all out.
They erased like the Men in Black, the thing that they flashed you in the face, erased your memory. That didn't happen. And that's just one example. I've personally seen that with many other things that I can't think of off topic or off the top of my head. But everything's so censored. Like, we don't even realize it. Like, we're getting fed information that is being hand-fed to our mouths, whether that's from the media, social media, any website, Google, Bing's a little better. But it's very fascinating how, like, we're grass-fed propaganda growing up and just buy into it and don't really realize.
Yeah, I think a lot of Americans are indoctrinated into this patriotism right off rip. You know, I was there's a podcast called Trash Taste, and none of them are from America. So one of the girlfriends or wives of one of them are, and she said, like, in her small town neighborhood, everyone had American flags, but around the world, like, no one really does that. That's weird.
Yeah.
So the patriotism in America is sky high, and it is pretty fucking weird. Like, I think it's very strange to be
almost North Korea-esque.
Yeah, like ultra patriotic. That's
China.
very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to learn the truth about your country, I think, like you say, learning from people that...
You have to look at it not
outside.
From within your country. Yeah, outside. Not from within your country, but from outside of your country.
You'll get a non-biased perspective, which is very important. And some things will shock you. Like, you don't do that? What? This is normal. This is what we do.
Like, we say the Pledge of Allegiance every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
But we don't think twice about it.
No, because you grow up doing it.
Yeah.
And kids are fed, like, their toys, like G.I. Joe.
Barbies, if you're a girl, yeah.
Like, it just all promotes militarism and, like, supporting the troops, which is good. Like, support the
Government-funded
troops.
war movies.
Exactly. Things like that, where you grow up with America being the hero in every war. The reality is they're not. In, like, I saw this last week, any war after World War II, America's pretty much the bad guy. But you say that to an American, and you hate your country, and you should go live somewhere else.
And you can't really blame America. Like, of course they're going to want you to believe that.
Yeah.
It's not an evil. Like, they're not trying to, you know what I mean? It's necessary, I guess.
I just find it all very weird.
It is
More
weird.
so the people's perspective on it, how they're so into, like, patriotism. Have you ever met, like, an ultra patriot?
Mm-hmm.
It's very cringy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that, whether or not, like, you can say you love America, and you're like, I feel very privileged to live here. I'm very lucky. And I think a lot of people see that way, but ultra patriotism is just it's creepy. It's very creepy to me. And I think a lot of people agree with that.
And I think it screams low IQ.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think deeply, and you're very set in your ways. But I think that those kind of people might have had a parent that was maybe a veteran. Like, a lot of it's environment, I think, that they're raised in. Like, racism. If your whole family...
it's totally taught.
Yeah, if your whole family's racist, it's going to be very difficult for you not to believe that. Like, if your whole family is Catholic or Christian, you're Catholic or Christian most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think, product of environment too. So, but yeah, like you're saying though, it's bizarre. Like, but to them, that's their world. That's normal. Like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you like this? Why am I not doing this? Like, it's interesting. Like all the Trump fuckers. I have no political affiliation.
Yeah, like none.
Trump fuckers are real. Like the ones that wear like the MAGA hats and the sweatshirts, and they're waving the flag around, and it's just like, you're weird.
The thing with, like, now, the election of, like, 2016 was probably the one that I knew the most about, because all the other ones I was still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pay attention to any of that shit. I had to kind of pay a little more attention in 2016. I saw it more. I was exposed to more things. But it seems to me like people viewed Trump as a god. Like
Yeah.
he can't do wrong. And my aunt had Trump as her background on her phone.
Our boss had a Trump Chia Pet.
Like that is
Kind of based.
that's kind of that's quirky, that's goofy. But the idolism of Donald Trump, and you can even say Joe Biden, it's like because the divide is so strong with Republicans and Democrats that they view their candidate as like the solution. I'd say more so in Trump because those people just seem fucking brainwashed. They just seem crazy as fuck. But that is so weird, and I have never seen that before in any people towards a presidential candidate. It's like they think like this guy can do no wrong. He is the savior of our country. They have
He's a
their phone back rooms, their phone backgrounds, flags flying. Their trucks are like Itasha
Signs in
and
the
Donald
yard.
Trump. Yeah, and they get so angry and aggressive when you say anything remotely bad about that person, or they fuck up and they're like, "Well, no, that can't be it." No.
Yeah, and that's a problem, I think. But at the same time, I'm play devil's advocate. You have to remember that Democrats and Republicans aren't all bad.
No.
Like there's not that you're saying that, but you only are exposed. Say you're a Republican, you're only going to be exposed to the extremist liberal or Democrat, and then if you are a Democrat, your idea of a Republican is that the people with the. That was already 29 minutes. We have
All right,
returned
you were
again.
saying you were only exposed to
The extremists.
yes.
I was saying when you are if you identify as a Republican, your idea of a Democrat is going to be like a very extreme version, and then vice versa. Your idea of a Republican is going to be potentially racism, hatred. Like you're going to get these stereotypes in your head. That's not reality. The reality is that most people are normal, whether they identify Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever. But we're exposed to the extremists, and I think that causes a lot of this intense diversion of like hatred for like the other party. And we're all humans. We all think we're doing the right thing, regardless of what you're affiliated with. And I think that if we come together, because Democrats, some Republicans can agree with their points, and then Republicans, some Democrats can agree with some of their points. There's pros and cons to each side. Why not just come together on your issues? It would be so much better for everybody, for you, for them, for us. Like, you know what I mean? There's just problems.
Unfortunately, the
That'll never
loudest
happen.
people are the ones that are heard, and those are the crazy people.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Squeaky wheel. What?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yes, squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, that one.
And like you said, the majority of them aren't crazy, so they're not making noise. And you get on like TikTok or Reddit or Instagram or Facebook, and you see the crazy people from the opposing side. You're like, fucking Democrats are fucking crazy. Like, look at this person. Yeah, you see the crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're putting litter boxes in schools so kids who identify as cats can shit in the hallway.
That's crazy.
I don't know if they're doing that. Like,
They are.
you say they are?
Yes.
Either way, you see the crazy stories and you associate. Now that person who saw that says, bro, all trans people are fucking crazy.
Mm,
But they're not. Like, they're normal. They're people just like us.
yeah. They don't
and-
hate and want to hurt.
Yeah, and the other side of the spectrum, all Republicans want to take away women's rights and get rid of abortion. Like,
They hate black people. You get that a lot
Yeah,
of racism in there.
that's definitely not the case for everybody.
Because I've met a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. I'm friends with Republicans and Democrats. They're normal people.
I can talk to both of them.
Yeah.
I don't see any issues. But when
Yeah.
you bring up politics, people now, I don't know if they did in the past, but it seems like now they just lose their minds.
Yeah, I wonder. That's a good question. Was it always like this and we just weren't exposed to it because of our age?
That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, and then with social media too, I mean, that makes it easier to access, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have that dude throwing shoes at George Bush. He was pretty pissed.
That dude was totally justified in throwing shoes at George Bush.
Yeah, I
He
can't
was,
disagree.
I think, either Afghan or Iraqi.
Middle Eastern.
And George Bush went in there and fucked up their countries for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm totally with that guy. I wish he would have hit him.
Hey, George came with the Dodgers, though.
Yeah, George bobbing and weaving.
He juked my man twice.
The dude looked like he was in a boxing match.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, though, on the whole the war there. That was horrible.
Not Iraq or
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, so he was justified in that. But yeah, I don't know. I forgot what we were saying.
Political discourse.
Political discourse. Yeah, I think that I don't think that we're doing ourselves any favors as a country. Especially, I think right now we're at a very how do you say this? Tumultuous time period.
Times. And one thing I see, I'm going to pin this more towards like liberals and liberals and Democrats, is if you don't agree with their viewpoint, they don't come back at you with like a discussion. They come back at you with hatred. Now, I've never really gotten into like a political debate or anything with like a Republican or someone pretty crazy, but from what I see, based on interactions that I've had with quite a few people, they hate you for disagreeing with them. There is no like listening doesn't exist for them. I think something very important when you're having a discussion with someone is to listen to what they are saying at the moment. I think a lot of people come prepared with rebuttals right off rip.
About what they want.
Yeah. They hear one key point that you say, and they're like, this is how I'm going to respond to that, instead of listening to the entire sentence. And you're not going to win someone over for the most part. Like, they have their views and you have yours. You're definitely not going to win someone over if you just attack them and feed your opinion down their throat instead of listening to why they think the way they do and maybe providing some examples as to where that's not true. Like, common ground goes a long way, and no one finds that. It just goes right out the fucking window.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like you're right. I've noticed too. Like, instead of like a liberal, for example, let's pick on them for a second because they're fun to pick on.
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, fuck them. They kind of tuck their tail between their legs and run away in anger. And like you're saying, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, you're not going to change opinions that way.
I feel like they're more emotional, maybe than the other side can be. The other side can drive you nuts too, but they're more likely, at least I think, to confront the issue. But like you're saying, if you disagree with a liberal opinion, instead of hearing why or coming to a common ground, fuck you, you racist, xenophobic, transphobic.
You get all of it.
You get labeled. Their defense mechanism is labeling you with an extreme word because that puts the power in their hand. Because now, if people think you're this or that, you're racist, you're transphobic, that's a trigger word. And now, he bad, I good. And that's what they're doing, I think. It's like a mechanism that they use. So I believe that a discussion would be very welcome. I think that you should have an open mind, for sure.
I think the another issue is most people can't have a discussion.
Yeah, an intelligent discussion.
They totally can't because they get so worked up that you think the opposite way from them.
The emotion takes over.
It does. It for just 90% of the time. That's always what happens.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't understand how things work. And, I'm guilty of this. I don't understand everything. Like, when someone says something about a policy, I'm like, I have no fucking idea. So when, say, the topic of, like, universal healthcare comes up, I don't have a perfect grasp on it. I think most Americans, a vast majority, don't have a grasp on how it works.
Mm.
From my understanding, it's the government subsidizes insurance companies with your tax dollars that you're already paying, and then you have to pay a premium on that. So you're paying essentially more for healthcare, and then like one side says, I don't want my taxes raised. I don't want my taxes going to pay for other people. Well, they already are. But you're also paying a premium on that in your copay. So I think if people did a little bit of research from multiple sources, not just Fox News, not just CNN. Like, get a list of multiple things.
Make your own opinion.
Yeah, and form your own opinion, and don't totally listen to what one person says. One of my old friends, who I'm no longer friends with, he's a Twitch streamer. His name is Hassan something.
Is he very popular?
He's very popular.
I think I've heard of him.
He viewed his word as gospel. I'm like, you can't just listen to one person.
Yeah, like what makes that guy your God?
And the craziest thing was, my friend was like really liberal and like super anti-capitalism. He was defending like communism in Russia. I'm like, you're going crazy. But the hypocritical thing was, this Hassan guy is a rich millionaire living in LA preaching this shit. Like, you don't see like the irony in that. You're blind to a lot of things.
Did you bring that up to him?
No, because
I wonder like what the response would be.
I don't know. I'm curious.
Would that be well, fuck you, you don't agree with
It would probably be like, well, dude, he didn't make his money off the backs of people. Was like his main point, is capitalism exploits people.
The scapegoat.
Yeah, that was it. I'm like, well, this dude's still a millionaire. And I don't think in a communist country he would have been a millionaire. But well, what the fuck do I know? I'm not going to argue with him about it, because I'm not going to change his opinion if he's so locked into what he thinks.
Bro's locked in.
Bro's locked the fuck in.
I respect the locked in, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. I don't see how we can overcome this, though.
I just had to erase a little audio bit at the end.
Like, what steps do you take to overcome these? Because most humans are emotional, not logical. So it's natural to immediately respond with anger, angst. It's just an emotional topic.
I think first things have to level out, because right now I'd say times are fairly, I'm going to use the word again, tumultuous.
I like that word.
Things are a little crazy right now. And when things get crazy, you got to point the finger at someone. Democrats will point at Republicans. Republicans will point at Democrats. And that creates discourse. So things have to level out a little bit, I think, to where people are fairly stable. And then maybe they can start having a conversation. You also can't really have like a polarizing figure like Trump.
Yeah.
Because people are obsessed with him.
But do we ever get to that point? Or does it just keep getting more unstable? Because I don't see direction changing soon.
I think if our political leader is actually a politician and not a geriatric or a TV celebrity, then maybe we're on the right path.
Like, imagine if Trump gets back in.
People are going to kill themselves.
They're going to lose their absolute shit.
They will go absolutely crazy.
And if Biden gets back in,
they're going to go crazy.
They're going to go crazy.
I don't want either of them back in.
Nobody does.
Biden is entirely too old. Trump's old.
He's 80,
He's really
78.
fucking, yeah, he's an old guy. He just wears it a little better.
Yeah.
They're both too old to be in office. They're both out of touch with what's going on. We need someone who's young and was raised more so in the current time frame.
Nobody wants them. Like, you have the...
Well, the issue is those people don't want to be president. Who the fuck wants to be president?
Well, you have what's his name? Vivek Ramsey or what's his name?
I don't think I've heard of him.
Really?
Mm-mm.
He's he's trying to get on the whole president run here. He's on it. Yeah, the ballot. He's got more of a grasp on things, I think.
Is he a younger guy?
He's younger. He's maybe 40, 50, somewhere, but below 50. He's no older than 50. But he's more cognitively there. You listen to Joe Biden talk, and you come out more confused than when you went in.
Yeah.
What did he say? What the fuck? You listen to Trump talk, you're like, wow, this guy really likes himself.
This guy talks kind of weird.
Just your takeaways. And there's no, like, man, Joe Biden is just not a good show for the United States of America.
No, how old is he? He's in his 80s.
81. Got to be 81, I think.
We should not have grandparents running a country.
Great-grandparent. So now he gets reelected, let's say, 4 more years. He's 85. He's already showing signs of extreme mental wear, dementia, and God knows what else. What is he like in 5 years? How does he function? How are you the president? How do you get up every day, not know where you're at? Like, how do you continue to lead a country? You just can't. You can't do it.
No, not at that age.
And you're showing China, you're showing Russia weakness. And you can't do that, I don't think, in this age, especially with how things are going. I think you have to put a strong figurehead in charge, regardless of how much power they actually have. It stands for something, I think. So I think putting someone more literate, more visceral, would be beneficial for the country as a whole.
That's why I liked Obama. Like, his policies aside, he was just fitting.
He was like somebody you could just like dap up. Like, hey,
He was, and he wasn't geriatric old. He was kind of with it.
Not that he was a good president by any means.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
But personality-wise, likability.
Yeah, he was a good figure to have in power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, whether or not of how much power the president actually holds, he was just a good example.
Yeah, he said you didn't laugh at him every time he gave a speech.
Yeah, you listened actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder where we went wrong. Like, come on, let's get back to normal. Like,
It was 2016. It was the election of Trump.
Yeah.
And that's not like Trump's the most evil person in the world. That's this polarizing figure captures the minds of millions of people.
Mm-hmm. And he did a good job at it.
He did a great job at it.
He's not stupid. Like, he's very good at capturing attention. He knows how to. So, okay, who do you think? Do you think that Biden or Trump will be the next president?
Probably. People vote for the color they want, not based on what they think that person is capable of doing. Republicans are going to vote Republican. Democrats are going to vote Democrat. And the Electoral College says this person.
Yeah. So does shit not go like haywire when that happens? Like, how do you prepare for this? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, shit's gonna happen. People are gonna lose their fucking mind.
People are going to lose their minds.
What are they gonna do?
I think there was a funny South Park episode when Obama got elected, and then people started like hiding in caves when he got elected, and then they come out and nothing's very different. Like, nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of it. Like, sure, the president is the president, and they're the figurehead of the country, but I don't think they're going to turn either one of them, Trump or Biden. They're not going to turn it into a dystopian wasteland of Republicans forcing you to go to church every Sunday, and if you get an abortion, you're going to be shot on sight, or trans people running around and turning kids into trans kids. That's not going to happen. That's the hype that these crazy people bring. But unfortunately, it's infectious.
Very. I feel like the diversity and the hate is gonna times like 100. I think it's gonna become very problematic. I think that's gonna be the biggest takeaway. Is how much the sides hate, how much they clash. Potential for violence. Like, I think
there's already violence.
Yeah, I think it's getting worse though.
I agree 100%.
So I don't know. I just feel like you're saying, like, the country's not in a great place right now. This doesn't help. Then you have China, Russia, Taiwan, Ukraine. Like, you have all these things coming to a head. Like, they have to blow at some point. What's that moment? Like, what happens? Does China invade Taiwan in the next 5 years?
And who's running the country at that point?
Yeah, who's running the country? How are we doing as a country? They're not doing good. Their economy's shit.
China's, yeah.
Does Russia get what they want in Ukraine? Do they push further into a NATO country? They want Poland.
What happens in Israel and Palestine?
Yeah, like, shit's popping off.
Yeah, shit's a little whack right now.
It's like, I feel like one of the topics I wanted to get on was, like, I feel like there's writing on the wall that, like, nobody wants to talk about. It's like, let's act like this isn't happening in a way. Like, something's like gonna happen. Like there's just like a feeling that you get, I guess.
Yeah, like what is the end look like for Ukraine? What does the end look like for Israel and Palestine?
It gets worse before it gets better.
It gets a lot worse before it gets better.
And we're in the the baby stages of what's happening.
Before we move on, I have to pee so bad.
All right, that's because of that.
That's because I'm drinking. What talk about next?
Well, we want to get into UAPs. Remember the Tucker Carlson?
Yeah, let's come back
comments?
into UAPs. Fuck yeah.
I think that's a very. That's a hot. Are you talking?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Shit. Wait a minute. All right, I'm back. I'm over here. All right. So next topic. So we don't run out of time here.
Well, we got unlimited time.
All right. Tune in for the next 12 hours because we're gonna fucking stay.
I could talk about this stuff all day.
You better stay. So UAPs. I forgot to mention. By the off chance that you don't know what that means, it's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Previously known as UFO, unidentified flying object.
So it's just they call them UAPs now, so that's what we're saying. We're going by that. But yeah, it's just UFOs. We saw a video recently of Tucker Carlson, which is a major media figure. That's a big deal. Talking about that he knows something about aliens that he doesn't even want to say because he won't even tell his family. Like
it just has that much of an impact.
It has that much. He has credible sources. Like that's what he claims. I'm not saying I believe him or not believe him, but he's a very powerful person, and for him to say that is concerning. Voice crack.
Nice.
Anyways, for him to say that, must be going through puberty. It's very. I wonder, like, what is so damaging that he's not going to talk about? Like, why is he even bringing it up?
It makes like the mind really think. It could be so many different things. The first thing that I kind of jump to is like the ancient astronaut theory that aliens helped us construct our society. And I guess like if people learned about that shakes the core of all history. That literally rewrites all of human history.
Mm-hmm.
And that would definitely shock people. I think that's definitely a possibility. We've kind of touched on what I saw another interview with him. He said he views it as spiritual.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw a clip.
Which I don't even know what to think about.
But he didn't say anything like angel, demon, God.
No.
He just said spiritual. Does that mean interdimensional?
I have no idea. That kind of like.
Is that even what is that same thing like?
That makes my mind go like blank. I'm like, what could that even be?
I don't, man. I remember reading that thing that I sent you. That there was like maybe he doesn't want to bring it up because it has to do with religion potentially. That being that they constructed religion to keep humans in line. Which, if he comes out and says that, a lot of his fan base are religious.
Yeah.
So now he could potentially be shunning a lot of his audience. So I wonder if he's kind of dancing around that topic because it's religion, and religion is such a sensitive thing to talk about.
Do you know if he's a religious person? I'm assuming he is.
I think he is. But I wonder if he is on TV. Is he actually? Or does he portray that?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important for his figure. So I don't know. He might be. I think he does portray that he does believe in a God. I don't know what religion. But so one of my theories is that it has to do with religion, but he explains it as being dark. Like it's dark. So in my opinion, that's not dark. That's just whoa. That's like mind blowing. That's crazy. Like that changes everything. But it's not evil. It's not dark.
When you say dark, I jump to like human experimentation, like crossbreeding, like forced crossbreeding, people getting abducted, and then
ant farm like slavery.
Yeah, like ant farm type deal. That seems a little dark. Like our whole existence is created because of that? And like, what if it's still going on?
Yeah, but that could be it. But is that spiritual? You know what I mean? Like, why does he say spiritual?
I don't know. It fucking confuses me when the spiritual thing throws me off so bad.
I did some further digging. One of the things that I came across, which it sounds far out, but
This whole thing is far out. I
It's a
don't,
whole
I don't
thing,
think
so
there's
it's just-
anything off the table
right.
here.
So they say, I remember reading a couple days ago about it. That I was curious what he meant by like spiritual. So I heard people talking about like, okay, they had heard things about like our soul. Like, you know, you hear people say like humans have a soul, and that's what makes you who you are. Oh, blah blah blah. Don't know if that's true. If it's not, it's cool. If it is, if it isn't, whatever. But anyways, so they say that we have a soul, and that these aliens, these extraterrestrials, these interdimensional beings, these demons, whatever the fuck you want to call them, are not able to obtain it. They don't have one. So they're stuck in whatever the fuck they're stuck in. They can't get away from it. They can't get out. They're trying to drain our soul energy, or we have some sort of energy that they want. Like we have, I don't know if it's directly our soul, but we have an energy that they want, and they can only get from creatures with a soul. So that's one of the things that I read. Sounds crazy, but you just never know.
It does sound crazy.
And that's spiritual. That ties into the spiritual aspect. That ties into the dark aspect. Because he sounds like shaken by it. And then we brought up Jimmy Carter the other day, where there's a story of Jimmy Carter being debriefed.
Supposedly confirmed true from like his right hand man, close
Supposedly,
aides.
yeah. So there's definitely there's evidence for this. This isn't just a crazy theory. So Jimmy Carter's debriefed. During his debriefing, he learns things that shake him deeply, similar to Tucker Carlson's what he's saying. So something shakes him. Reportedly, he starts crying, sinks his hands into his face, and is shaken for weeks. What did he hear? If this is true, what would a human being hear that makes them cry and shake in fear?
I've seen a lot of speculation about Jimmy Carter being a very religious man, and if what he was told completely dissolved religion, I can see how he would break down and freak the fuck out.
How do they prove it to him? That's what I wonder.
I guess it's just like a trust thing. Like, these are the guys who are in the know.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming to you with like, hey, we've talked to these things, we know about them, and everything you were raised on is a lie.
Like your family's tradition, your tradition, like that could be hard for
Christianity was created by these beings so you wouldn't act out or look further into them. Because technically, based on Christianity, aliens can't exist.
Yeah, that would destroy that.
Yeah, so why, if they don't want us to, if they are gathering things from us and they don't want us to know about it, that's a great cover story, right?
I just something's going on. Like there's got to be something there that's true. Not that specifically, but like there's something that's got to be. There's got to be something malevolent, dark. Maybe there's both. Maybe there's dark and there's good.
What I've read is there's supposedly like 20 different species that we know about of aliens, and some are dark and malevolent, some are good.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like there's good people, there's bad people. Why wouldn't they be other intelligent life like that as well? They can travel here and I guess do whatever the fuck they want, because from their viewpoint, we're disposable, stupid as fuck.
Yeah, they would look at us like we look at crickets.
Yeah, just
like,
bugs.
Yeah, fuck these. Let's feed them to the fucking mouse or a snake or something.
Yeah, mouse experimentation,
Their energy.
animal experimentation. Like, hey, shoot them with this thing. Let's see what it does.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's like disturbing experimentation, or if we're, man, I don't know. Like I hope he comes out with it soon. I think he will. I wonder if he's preparing like a soft landing, like, you know what I mean?
Tucker Carlson.
Potentially. Like, instead of just plain out saying, like, yeah, these guys want your fucking soul. They're going to drain it out your fucking asshole. See ya. Like,
Based on like what he said and how he said it, I don't know if he's ever even going to say anything about it. That could put him. I think it's water running.
Right.
The building is doing.
They heard us.
Noises.
They heard us talk.
Yeah, the government's going to break in and be like, "You guys said a little too much."
Do you know I have schizophrenia?
I am. If it's that dark and deep to him, and if it's classified information that he can't say, he could get in some hot water. Like, Tucker, we know where you live. We already maybe he got fired from Fox because he said something he shouldn't have.
That's
Or he
what
was
he said.
talk. He said they talk about that stuff when the cameras are off. What if he said something? What if he knew something? They're like, okay, this guy has a voice. We can't let him continue to do that.
Because it could be dangerous to their credibility.
Yeah.
And if you're saying if he releases classified information on accident,
Tucker might fall out a hospital window.
yeah, he might shoot himself in the head 3 times.
Yeah, it's a classic suicide.
That shit happens. But I feel like he's laid the groundwork. Like you can't tease something like that and then not eventually come out with it. I hope he does.
I do too, because at that point, a lot of people are saying like it's a withholding information from the public of that magnitude is like a crime. And if Tucker has something that important and he's withholding it from the population, I view it as a crime. Like, if it's something that people should know, you should tell them.
Yeah, and we know one of his sources is Dave Grush, very credible individual. But I assume he has more.
He has a lot more, but he can't say it because
Yeah.
it isn't cleared.
If you have one, you're gonna have many. So he's potentially getting information from people in the know. Do you think you want to play the other side of the story? Maybe he's being corrupted with fake information to create the Alex Jones narrative of this guy is a psycho. Like, listen to what he's saying.
It's a possibility, but Alex Jones comes off as crazy, whereas someone like David Grush does not.
Mm-hmm.
He's just saying outlandish things. His personality does not strike me as this guy's fucking bonkers. You know, I think the personality has to play a part in that, and his definitely does not. And Bob Lazar said, he didn't confirm this. He said maybe this was there, but according to what he read before he started his work at S4, was that the craft that he's working on comes from, was it Zeta Reticuli?
I don't remember how they.
I think it was in Orion's Belt area. Fuck, there's something in my throat. Yeah, no, I should drink. That sounds raspy. It sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
But supposedly these things came from Zeta Reticuli. And he doesn't know if that was put there specifically, like in his briefing, so that they could track whoever said this. So if the word got out to the government that they hear someone's talking about these beings coming from Zeta Reticuli, they're like, okay, that was Lazar's briefing. We can track it back to Lazar and we'll get on him about it. It could be something like that. But I don't know. He never specified whether or not that's what they were doing or what they weren't doing.
It's like a teacher giving like everybody different tests, and then you cheat.
Yeah, you can see
All the
who
answers are
cheated.
wrong. Well, you cheated now. Like, it's obvious. Yeah, that makes sense. But like, if they are from there, don't we have the ability to study that area? Like, we have powerful enough telescopes and powerful enough equipment that we could at least get a reading on potential life signs, water on the
We
planet.
100% probably do,
But
but
doesn't
it's
get
also been
released.
confirmed that NASA scrubs images and they doctor images.
Fuck.
I'm not going saying like the moon landing's fake or anything,
No.
but if there's something in a picture that they see and like that shouldn't be there.
Now I want to know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. NASA's a fascinating topic too.
NASA's not really like a government entity, is it?
No,
Or is it?
But NASA was. That's when they recruited during World War II. Well, after World War II, they recruited a lot of Nazi scientists to take over NASA. Werner von Braun.
Yeah, Russia did the same thing.
Yep. So NASA has not that it's not that they're all not credible, but NASA was led by Nazis for
Years.
decades. Yeah. So I don't know. I just what is NASA scrubbing? Who's telling them to scrub this? Like, what are they seeing in these
Yeah.
images?
I think they're seeing like UAPs. That
Structures, mega structures,
maybe.
Dyson spheres.
Maybe, I don't know.
That'd be nuts.
That would be fucking nuts.
Imagine there's like a Dyson sphere is a structure that surrounds a star and harnesses all of its energy and power, which would be
There's a lot of power.
extremely advanced civilization. Yeah, it's a shit ton of power, unlimited almost. But what that means is that there's something extremely advanced out there that far surpasses us. So that's Dyson sphere is theoretical, but it is scientific plausibility. Like, it's not a conspiracy theory thing. So what are they doing? What are they getting rid of? Are these images ever going to come out? Like say things get aliens, more information about aliens comes out, UFOs. Does NASA follow suit? Maybe, and release some images. Like, I just want to see these things. I just want to see what's going on. Like, I'm not going to freak out. I just want to know.
You and everyone else. Do you remember back in 2021 or 22, the Chinese balloons, quotes, air quotes here, that were shot down by F-22 Raptors over like South Carolina, Alaska, and like they're gone. We don't know what they are. No one ever recovered anything.
Yeah, disappeared.
Isn't that suspicious as fuck?
Yeah, it's a little suspicious.
Right? Supposedly there's a video that came out from Alaska when one of these things was shot down, and a guy who was working out there filmed it. A bunch of military vehicles coming in, and I guess based on the story, he was bullied into deleting the video off the internet, which prompts me to think, if this is just a run-of-the-mill Chinese spy balloon, why is that such a big deal? Wouldn't you want like American people to see it and analyze it and be like, well, that's what China's doing right now. We can maybe use that against them.
And the fact that this balloon traveled all the way from China and nobody detected it,
right,
is almost impossible.
It's like over American airspace for how long?
Yeah, and it was just, that's there.
Yeah, American airspace is they're locked down pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that this thing multiple of them just come in, then we need Raptors to shoot them down.
It's very bizarre.
It's weird.
Whether it was something other than a balloon, or it could also be like, hey, look what we can do, China. Like, or it was like a display of power in a way. I don't know. I don't know much about that story specifically. Like, I definitely remember hearing about it and thinking it was weird. Like, why is China flying spy balloons
over Alaska
when they have boots on the ground?
Yeah, they have like Chinese spies who are here.
Bro's got Google Earth.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
It's weird. Like, or what, they're flying over bases potentially. But it just doesn't seem plausible to me. I wonder say it's not a balloon. What could it be?
UAP.
From where?
Zeta Reticuli.
Yes, absolutely. No.
Supposedly, like multiple of these things have been shot down throughout the years.
Which is, yeah, I've heard about multiple like balloon type objects. Yeah, I saw a video on Twitter the other day of like looked like a black balloon.
Was it? I think that's been debunked. I saw.
Yeah, I thought in
it was
the
like
comments.
Crazy HD. It looked really good.
Yeah, they said that it was a.
It was like a happy 30th birthday balloon from Amazon.
Yeah, but like some of these videos aren't fake. Like there's gonna be, you might come across 100 videos. 100 videos aren't fake. Like there's gonna be something legitimate in there. What is that one legitimate thing? And if there's one, there's more. Like, where do they come from? What are they? Where'd you go, Cotton Eye Joe? You know, what's going on?
And balloons, like, you can tell a fucking balloon
Easily.
It's a goddamn helium balloon.
Mm-hmm.
I sure they've been mistaken. I guarantee it. But I feel like the vast majority, you don't know, so you chalk it up to balloon, or maybe Government bots on the internet are chalking it up to balloon.
And bots are another problem.
Bots are a crazy problem.
And they're getting smarter.
I see bots on fucking Crunchyroll comments.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much are that we don't even realize. Like how much interaction there is that we didn't really, yeah, that's probably a person. No, that's a bot.
That's crazy how they can come off like a person.
And with AI getting more intelligent, I think that they're getting harder to distinguish. So I wonder if that becomes a bigger issue here in the future. But back to the alien stuff. I like talking about aliens.
I love talking about aliens.
So with what we said earlier about Tucker Carlson's comments, Dave Grush, Bob Lazar, like there's something going on. There's something out there. I hope it is exposed in the next 10, 20 years. I think that there'll be more opacity on it. We'll be more transparent. But I think that they withhold like important information, like damaging information, like what he's talking about, the dark stuff. Because I don't think that human beings are ready to accept something insane like that.
Will they ever be? Like, it's either you rip the Band-Aid off or you never do.
Yeah,
because religion is such a, if it has to do with religion, that's such a staple for millions of people, regardless of what it is. Like, most of the world is religious.
But do you think it's more beneficial to do it slowly over time, to lessen the sudden blow, to kind of like warm people up, I guess? Or do you think that it's important just to, like you say, rip the Band-Aid off?
I think just rip it off.
I agree too. Like, I wish they would. I wish they would just fucking...
I don't think a like slow release of information really changes anything, because then people are just going to pry even more. And on top of that, it's the government creates a problem for themselves of how long have you been holding this information from us? Whether or not it's slow or they just drop it all at once, people are going to ask that question. Why were you holding this information from us for so long? Like,
right.
What else do you know that you're holding from us?
Do you think that it could potentially be like damaging for, say that we have stuff? Do you think releasing that information could be dangerous for our adversaries like China, Russia?
Well, supposedly Russia already has crafts.
Okay, so
multiple.
Let's just hear it then. Like, come on.
I want to so bad. I would just like for it to happen in my lifetime.
When we're able to understand it.
Yeah, or if I do die, I just get all the answers to the questions I'm curious about.
Maybe you wake up to getting your soul sucked out. That kind of sounds like a good way to go out.
Maybe this is all just a simulation anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Tucker's like, fuck, dude, everything I know, my family, my life, my career.
Like it's all.
It was written by somebody.
Yeah, well, you can get into that too if you want. I like talking about that. The simulation theory, I don't like the word simulation. I think that's a very loose term.
Do you view it more as like a predetermined life?
I guess, yeah, you could say that. I'm not sure though. I just like what I think. I'm not certain of like anything. I'm always very open-minded. I want to be open-minded. I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm right and you're wrong, or this is it and that's not it. But I definitely buy into certain theories more than others. And this and like the multiverse would be one of them. But the simulation theory, I don't like the word simulation because I think when people say that, you picture human computers being like plugged into a wall and boom, The Sims. I don't like that idea. I think that that's too simple. I found something. 1 second. I'll be able to quote it better if I read it.
Is it on Twitter?
I have it saved. So this, on the simulation topic, the Twitter handle is the Project Unity. All credit goes to them. Puts like a better twist on the simulation word. And he says, the only point of contention I now have is whether this is an artificial simulation, quantum computer, or whether it's a spiritual simulation, a holographic universe in the mind of God. And beyond that, I also wonder if ultimately there's even a difference. Like, that is kind of like mind-boggling. The holographic universe inside the mind of a god. Um, I feel like that's more appropriate than just saying we plugged the computer into an outlet and boom, here we are. So you never know. Like,
Do you think simulation could even be more physical? Like, if I build an ant farm and I put certain things in certain places, I'm basically simulating the colony of ants in a way.
like say that you wrote their DNA, like you programmed their computer, their whatever, you know more programming than I
Sure,
do.
like IVF, like in vitro fertilization type deal. If you did something like that with a colony of ants, it doesn't even actually have to be that. It's just you put these ants in this area, give them these resources, put these ants in this area, give them these resources, and then you let the simulation run.
Mm-hmm.
You think it could be something like that?
Totally. I totally buy into that. I think that when you break it down to the building blocks, it becomes more clear that we might not have the free will we think we have. I know that you don't like that. We've talked about this before.
Dude, I'm free. I can do whatever I want.
Right. It's natural to get like a little angry about that and taken back because that takes the power out of your hands, and we don't like that. We naturally want to pull that back. Like, no, I don't want to think about that. I don't like that idea. What I like to reference is at the lowest end of the life spectrum, you have like mitochondria, single-celled organisms like we were once, multiple cellular organisms like we are now, spiders, ants. At the end of the day, they all have DNA, and the more simple that they are, the more simple their programming is. So, for example, a bird. A bird, it knows to fly south in the winter. It's instinctual. It's not taught. It's programmed. It's pre-programmed into their. It's hardwired into their DNA.
Mhm.
A spider, for example, all these things are. They don't have a consciousness, as far as we know. Right now, we don't believe they have a consciousness. That might change. But as of right now, they are on a predetermined path, and they act a certain way in certain scenarios over and over again. And this has been studied as well. If you put an insect in front of a spider, it chooses how many paths to take, but it's always going to do the same thing at the end of the day. It just takes a different path to get there.
It just kills the bug and eats it.
It's programmed to do so. Then you build up to more intelligent life forms, dogs, cats, bears, gorillas, humans. And it just gets more complex. But at the human level, it becomes so complex that we have so many choices, we can't determine if we have free will or not. We have so many, it's almost like we don't. We can choose from 1 billion instead of 1,000. So I think that's where I sit on the free will debate.
So it seems like we have free will, but actually, like every person is on a path already.
Yes,
but with the
path.
ability
Illusion.
to choose so many options.
It gives the illusion of freedom of choice.
Mm.
That's how I feel about that. Well, what is your take on that?
I don't. If I were to buy into the simulation theory, I think it's more in the realm of an advanced, like the ancient astronaut theory, where these beings came and were like an experiment. They created us, and they're like, we're going to let them do their thing and kind of see what happens. To me, that's still a simulation. It's just kind of in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my take on it.
I respect it.
I mean, it can really go anywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
neither of us know. Like, I don't know. I'm just speculating.
And when they talk about these UAPs are interdimensional, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
That also blows me. Yeah, we can't comprehend.
Right?
I mean, we can try, but the best thing you can use is mathematics that like nobody understands.
Yeah, only like our limited
Astrophysicists and
our limited comprehension of it.
yeah. I when it comes to interdimensional, that boggles my mind. Like we know there's multiple dimensions above ours, but how things exist in those is bizarre. Like, can intelligent life exist in another dimension, and what does that look like?
And is it coming here?
And why?
All right, issue fixed, solved, whatever.
Gang.
Maybe the aliens are fucking with my camera.
They are. They know. So we were talking about interdimensional. We've been hearing that come up a lot lately with powerful, influential people. So there's some credibility behind it, I think. I don't know what it means. I don't think anybody does yet. But I think that there's something to be said that these people are now. You've heard multiple people talking about interdimensional. Like, you hear that being said now. Like, yeah, what does that mean? Like, why are they coming here? What do they want? If they are, what's their goal? It's all very bizarre. But there's no way that we're alone. Like, at the end of the day,
It's fucking impossible. It is impossible.
Mathematically, what's the Drake equation?
Yeah.
It's mathematically an impossibility that we're alone. I mean, it is possible, but the chances are not in our favor by a long shot. And like I said, I think that maybe 100, 200 years from now, this is a normal conversation that people have. Like, hey, remember when those idiots didn't believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Like,
we look back on our past and think, like, hey, what were those idiots thinking?
Yeah.
Why were they doing that stupid thing?
Yeah, like Edwin Hubble. We didn't know that there were other galaxies. That was a crazy notion. We were the only galaxy. The Hubble telescope becomes an invention. We see millions and billions of galaxies. Well, we should have known this.
Why? This makes perfect sense.
Morons.
For everyone's looks at, like, ancient times before the Greeks, and everyone thought that this Earth was the center of the universe and everything revolved around the Earth.
Mm-hmm. Or the Earth was flat. They believed that for a while. Some people still do.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots, but I digress.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that right now it sounds outlandish to bring these things up, but potentially within the next few decades, this decade, this would be a normal conversation of like, yeah, like these exist. This is what they're doing. This is what we do about it. We're in agreement with them. We're not in agreement with them. We know what they want. We don't know what they want, etc. We have craft. We have bodies. They come here at this time of the year. They go into the ocean. That's not the ocean.
The ocean stuff's wild to me. I'm like, why? They could totally be hiding down there.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole right there.
Have you ever seen a UFO or UAP? Have you ever had an experience?
I can't say that I have. Like, I can't say I believe I have. But I did have an experience where I was like 3 weird lights in the sky when I was maybe like 12 years old. We were at camp in Navarre. That's for my cousin's Boy Scouts. I don't know why I was there. I was not a Boy Scout.
Just doing some camping. Getting out, doing the man thing.
God
the
forbid,
woods.
God forbid I taking the vibe, But yeah, I remember seeing like 3 lights in the sky in the shape of like a triangle, almost like you see in the videos.
Yeah, very common.
But at the same time, I don't know if that was what I thought it was, and it's a very foggy memory to me, and maybe I was just seeing something that I wasn't. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things that like kind of feels like a dream almost, but I can't say I've ever had like a affirmative like, yeah, that's a UFO.
My friend Kyle was in this area. If you go that direction, there's a building that's a Spectrum on it. He was there one night, and he saw something. He's not really into UFOs or anything. He saw something in the sky. I think he said it was maybe triangle shaped, but he didn't know what it was. And my first thought, he messaged us in the chat, and he's like, I saw some weird lights. And I'm like, I got to jump on this shit. Like, investigator UFO mode goes in.
Oh, yeah. Put the glasses
and I'm like, okay. Like, you're by an airport. Was it moving? And what color were the lights, and were they blinking? He's like, it wasn't moving. I don't recall what colors they were, but nothing was blinking. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. So he's like, it could have been a drone. I'm like, there's no way in hell it could have been a drone, because you were in literally 100 feet from an active runway. Like, there's no way that could have been a drone. It is totally legal to fly a drone there. In fact, with most drone like software, if you are in the range of an airport at a certain altitude, the drone won't even take off. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I can't say it's a drone, but he has no idea what he saw. It's weird that it was that close to an airport, but you also have to take into consideration that it is close to an airport and there's airplanes and helicopters coming in. But also, this is not a crazy active airport. There aren't planes coming in constantly. Like, that tower out there shuts down at like 11:30 or something. It is not always going. And when a plane comes in, especially where he was at, you can hear it, and it's extremely low and moving fairly quickly because it is going in for a landing or taking off. He's like, I didn't see anything like that. I didn't hear anything. It was just these lights that were sitting there. And he said he was looking around at other people around him to see if they're looking at anything. As far as he could tell, he's the only one who saw it. But that's what he saw. I don't know what it was. He doesn't know what it was. He's not into UFOs really at all.
And that's important.
He's not.
Because there's no bias.
For me, I'd be like, oh, that's a UFO. And then I would look and be like, okay, what else could that have been? His thought process is, what is that? And then it's, I can't really explain that. I have no idea what that was.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, that could have been something, that could not have been. But if it was, why was it there? What was it doing? What do they do?
That kind of, I thought about this. So there's a lot of people who claim to be like abducted. Some people see UFOs frequently. Do you think if these things are like targeting people, so they pick a certain person and they're like, we see something about you that we like or that we don't like, and we're going to kind of pay more attention to this person?
Potentially. Yeah, I could, if they have something that they find valuable that we don't even realize. Like, maybe they can read an energy of something. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, that makes sense. Let's observe his brain because it's different from this one. We've never seen this before. Like, let's learn about this. Like, you never know. Or let's take this guy's fucking zinc. He's got a lot of zinc in there. Like, we don't have that where we're from. Give me that
This
shit.
guy's got an iron deficiency. We don't want him.
Yeah, fuck that guy. We'll put a magnet on him, see how much comes to the surface. But yeah, you never know. Like, it's just, like I say, there's just things that sound crazy, but could totally be true. And we've had that in the past before where that's crazy. Oh, wait a minute. 10 years later. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's real. Like, tying back to Epstein's Island. That was reported on in 1999. Before that, you're all crazy. There's no way that's real. Fuck you. They shit on you if you said that. Like, that was taboo. Well, guess what?
That's the thing now.
Well known. Like, that happened. That was there for a long time. So anything's possible. It's just hard to, you speculate on it because you just don't know what it is or where it comes from or what the meaning of it is. But I think we all have, like, the feeling that there's something bigger out there. Like, there's got to be a point to all this. I think everybody...
Is there, though?
That's a good question.
I think some people have a hard time. Maybe that's
I
such a difficult thing for people.
Yeah.
A lot of people find the meaning in life in different things. Like, for someone who's religious, it could be doing good and then going to heaven. For someone who's not religious, it's like, my purpose is to be a doctor and help people.
Carry on my name.
Yeah, and then what if it's revealed that there's absolutely no point to this? You are literally just the product of common evolution.
But doesn't that feel bizarre?
To not have a purpose?
To not, I know it's instinctual and like it's innate to feel that way. But why does anything exist? Like, why then? Like, if there's no point to it, there's no grand scheme, there's no purpose. Like,
I guess when you ask why, you're kind of implying that there is a higher power.
Yeah.
Where I view it as there is no why. It just happened.
How?
That's where we're digging back billions and billions of years to the creation of the universe.
What was before?
I don't know.
See, that's where you
Like, I think of a black screen. I have no idea
That's
what was
something.
there.
Yeah.
But, like, is there a reason to that? Some things just don't really have a rhyme or a reason.
The ultimate question is, why does anything exist? In my opinion, and I don't think that that's one that has ever had a good answer for me. Like, nobody's ever been able to put that in perspective. Like, well, maybe this is why. Like, Big Bang, multiverse, God, atheism, like nothingness. It just, none of it has been like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I personally don't think there is a reason for anything. Like, and a lot of people kind of get flustered with that. They're like, well, then why do you have to do anything you have to do on Earth? Like, why do you want to be a decent person? Like, what's your purpose for that? Well, I don't think there is a purpose. Like, to me,
I just prefer being.
yeah, that's just how I want to act. And I just want to not be a shithead.
And it's more beneficial anyway.
Yeah, and sure, at the end of the day or by the end of my life, there's no reward. But I don't fucking care. I'll be dead.
Do you think the point of life, at least on Earth, is to mate and reproduce and carry on your DNA?
I mean, that's instinctual. Like, every animal does. That is the. I guess this kind of answers the why for certain things. Like I think the mayfly, for example, it is born, it goes through and it matures, it reproduces, and then it dies in the span of like 24 hours.
And that's it.
That's it. That is all it does.
We're just that, but a little longer. We have an extended version.
Yeah, maybe we just have an extended
More
version.
complex.
Like, people super want to have kids. For what reason, I don't know. All animals' goal is to reproduce, and pre-programmed to reproduce for what purpose? Like, what? I just
Keep the game going?
I guess, like, how long can we make this thing last?
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, everything that a guy does is to get laid. Now, hear me out on this.
No, I agree. Guys are horny
Okay.
as fuck.
Good, you're in agreement. Whether that be become successful, get a nice car, get a nice house, work out, look good. It's because you want to attract a mate and have an offspring. Like, that's what, like, 99% of men, that's their goal, and they don't even realize it. Some of them.
Yeah, to carry on their legacy. Keep that
legacy.
name going.
So everything that we do, at least in I'm a guy, so I can speak on it. Everything that a male does from a male's perspective is to carry on their DNA at the end of the day. And they don't even realize it. Like, they want the car to impress the woman. They want the house to impress the woman. Or the man, whatever you're attracted to. But that's neither here nor there. But everything that we do is to procreate. Like, we want to continue our DNA, our bloodline. That's our goal, like the mayfly. We just have a more in-depth version of that.
More paths.
Yeah, more paths to choose from. The pre-programmed fucking DNA. I tell you, there's no free will. There is, but there isn't. And that pisses me off.
There's the illusion of free will.
It's the illusion of free will, yeah. 100%. That's what I believe. And we're never going to know that. We're not programmed to know that. Like, we can't say for sure, oh yeah, I knew I was going to do that. Like, that's not going to happen. But I think that what chooses why you determine what you determine has to do with two things. I don't want to get to it.
Send it. Go for it.
All right,
We're all no bars held here.
I've never heard anyone else bring this up, but this is a theory that I personally have, that we're all a blank slate when we're born, conscious-wise, but our DNA and our environment builds us as a conscious being. So you're, like, for example, you or whoever, you have your family genetics. So your predisposed to acting certain ways. Like maybe your family you're more of a calm personality, or you have a short temper, so you're predisposed to have that short temper, and then your environment say something happens in your environment that influences your decision making as a youth. I think that when you combine your genetics, your genome, your DNA, with your environment, which everybody experiences differently. Nobody experiences the exact same things the exact same way. So we're all different. Everybody's consciousness is different. It all differs. That's what I believe. I believe that's at the end of the day, that's what determines our choices. So I mean, kind of you have free will, but at the same time you don't. It's predetermined by what happens in your environment and your family's history, your genes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like my personal theory. I don't think anybody's ever.
I think people are 100% shaped by their environment.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thread that pops up on Reddit occasionally of like unethical experiments that you would like to see done but can't for ethical reasons. And one of those that I'm so curious about is like if you take some newborn children and put them in an environment with no influence, like they cannot hear a language, they don't see anything. It's like a blank room. What happens to them? Do they develop language? Do they take on traits from their parents? Like imagine you do this for 10 years. Like what you were going on is a child is formed by their environment, and like regardless, they'll take on some of those traits from their parents. Like kind of no matter what environment they're in, they'll inherit some of those traits. Well, like personality-wise more so than physical. Do they still get those personality traits even though they weren't exposed to those parents? They're not exposed to anything.
I think at that point they're just DNA with like no direction. They're just running off of what's already there.
I'm so curious what would happen.
Like what? Yeah, I know. I bet that experiment's been done to an extent somewhere.
That's so. I want to know. I want to know the results to that. Like, what do they speak to each other? How do they communicate?
It would almost be alien.
Yeah, it might be.
Like they might form a way to communicate that we don't like echolocation. Like they could form something bizarre like that, their own way of communicating, clicking. But if they're in a dark room, they don't form vision, or they have very limited, I believe, because they've done stuff with that before. If you're raised by chimpanzees, you're gonna act like a chimpanzee. If you're a human, but you're still gonna have human genetics, human traits. So I don't know. That's a really good question, and I wish I knew the answer to that experiment because I'd be a very.
Unfortunately, I don't think that'll ever get done, and we'll never know. But it's interesting to think about and ponder.
No, let's just reincarnate Joseph Mengele.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you were a pretty fucked up person. What if we just try this out? He'd probably be like, yeah, fuck yeah. I wonder if I guarantee, man, it has to have been done before. Something like that, at least.
There was one experiment where these, I think 3 girls weren't exposed to music. And they were given instruments, and they wrote songs. And they were like, what can you come up with without having ever been exposed to music? And the songs are on YouTube and stuff. They sound like fucking shit. They're horrible.
But in their head, they're bangers.
Yeah, in their head, they're like, okay, this is like the #1 spot on Billboard. But
yeah, so they form their own environment. Like they.
Yeah, like that to them, that's good.
That's interesting. And then what were you when you were younger? What were you exposed to musically?
Like classic rock.
Me too.
More so.
And what do we listen to now?
Metal.
Yeah, it's product of environment. If you were raised on Tupac and Biggie Smalls,
Yep.
that's all you heard.
Probably gonna like R&B and rap.
You're gonna
and
like
hip-hop.
R&B and rap, and that's gonna be your main choice. Like you're gonna vibe more with that genre than many others. Like for me, metal is my genre of choice. Although I enjoy all genres of music, if I had to choose one, that's what I go back to every time.
Mm-hmm.
Or some form of metal. So I think your environment plays a huge role in it.
Do you think that there's any point in which your environment kind of doesn't play as much of a role on you? Because kids are very impressionable. It's like, when does that being extremely impressionable kind of stop or go away? Because now, you could surround me with country music 24/7, and I'm probably not gonna like country music.
So like maybe when the brain develops, maybe when you're very young, like sub 5, when you're most impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
Should I think that you can be influenced to anything? Like if just to use an extreme example, if you're raised by a group of people that slice their arm open as like some weird ritual they do every fucking Monday, you're gonna think that's normal. You're gonna want to slice your arm open on a Monday because that's what everybody else does. It's just like something bizarre, but that's what your environment is. But I think if you told somebody to do that at 18, why? I think they're gonna start asking questions. They have the ability to critically think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe when critical thought starts to enter the frame, maybe that's when that
Do you think children can think critically?
I think it depends on the child.
Like, do you think they might not have the capacity to think critically because they're still developing and they're so impressionable to everything around them?
I think most don't have an ability to think critically. So yeah, potentially they're all.
There's
But at what age do they?
There's a lot of adults who can't even think critically.
I swear, like 85% of people are NPCs.
I think most people cannot think critically and are NPCs.
I don't want to get off topic, but just real quick. Like, to me, living like the traditional like American dream life is so bizarre to me. Like going to church every Sunday, dressing the kids for dinner later, like going home to the wife.
The white picket fence
The
out
white picket
front.
fence. That's common. Like, that's what most people buy into. But it's just odd. It doesn't. It's why don't we, like, you know what I mean? Like, what about our environment and our situation made us want to steer clear of that? Like, why? That's not the norm.
Yeah, I thought about that too. And what's interesting is, like, I'd say my sister followed that path. Went to college, got a job, has a family.
Very traditional.
Yeah, very traditional. Me, Alex, even my other brother Joe aren't really like that. It's very different. So I'm like, where did things change? Because Joe's the oldest. He didn't go to college. He joined the military, worked firefighter, but he settled down, I guess, and he took a different approach. Oh, there's my dad. He just gave me the finger. I thought he knocked. I want to go open it. Let me clip this real quick.
Man.
I don't even know what we were on.
Oh no, but I was scared shitless.
I have no idea. My dad just popped in. He got home from a flight. He delivered a liver.
That's pretty cool.
Delivered the liver to Madison, Wisconsin.
Good band name. Delivered the liver?
Delivered the liver.
Bro, that's fucking hard. When are we starting a band, Anthony?
I don't know. I got all the equipment. I got everything.
Yeah.
Just not another. Yeah, I have everything. We don't need shit.
Sounds good. What were we talking about?
Dude, I don't even fucking remember. One thing I do want to talk about is I guess this low-key ties into mildly what we could have been talking about is the idea of like a soulmate. How people say they find like the person for them. You buy into that?
No.
I don't either. I don't either for a fucking second.
Product of environment. Circumstances. You were single. They were single. You had similar interests. You talked to each other. Became friends. Like each other. Like, it's just...
Now you're there.
There's nobody that's made for anybody specifically. I never buy into that. I don't believe in the love at first sight either.
I don't either. Well, I do think there is someone who is the best match for you out of everybody on Earth.
But the chance of you finding that
is totally impossible.
1 in 8 billion.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever happened.
Probably not.
Like, most people have never left this country.
And I think something else we can tie in. I think that the amount of people that say they found the one and the high divorce rates kind of contradict that.
They totally, it's like what, 50% of...
50% of first marriages fail. 63% of second marriages fail, and 73% of third marriages fail.
If you're getting married that many times, those percentages are going up, and it just seems like
And you're the problem.
yeah, like you have an issue. If one person says you're a jackass, you might not be a jackass. If everyone says you're a jackass, you're the jackass.
I'm gonna say if you run into an asshole in the morning, you ran into an asshole all the time. If you run into assholes all the time, you're the asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as far as the soulmate thing goes, I don't believe it. I think that it's just some shit that like Disney and the church and all that sell you.
Like Hallmarky, like
Yeah,
Valentine's Day, a Hallmark holiday.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, some people genuinely believe that though. They buy into that.
Yeah, I bet if my grandpa and his girlfriend, I bet if you asked them, they would say that because they seem extremely happy. But
I mean, that's great.
Great. I'm not
But-
mad about it. Like fuck yeah, like good for you. Like, but I don't think that. I think that was circumstance. Like for example, my grandmother passed away a few years ago, and her husband passed away a few years ago. That's circumstantial at the end of the day. If they hadn't passed away, you guys would have never, you know what I mean? Like it would
They
never
would
happen.
never met.
So it was product of circumstance, environment. You went to the same church. That's where they met. At the same time, sat relatively close to each other. That wasn't divine intervention. That was just circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
All my exes, anybody like that I can think of, I've never been like, yeah, this is like my soulmate. This is
This is the one.
the one. Like I've never felt that way. Not to say that some people don't feel that way. Totally they feel that way. But is it true or not? I don't believe it is.
I don't either. Most of my friends all have divorced parents. Like 80% of all my friends have
I'm
divorced
a
parents.
bastard.
I know one of my other friends is a bastard. His dad just dipped.
You bastard.
Like Jonathan got called a bastard from the church
I love you, Jonathan.
because his parents got a
I'm
divorce.
sorry.
It's crazy how many people have divorced parents and how like just common it is, and it totally kills the theory of the soulmate type deal.
Yeah. And the damage that does to the household and the family and the children. It's so common. It happens so often, yet these kids are experiencing this and it's destroying them. There's statistics and studies that show growing up in a single parent household is extremely damaging. Being raised, this is going to be a controversial thing to say, being raised by a single mother is significantly worse than being raised by a single dad. I forget the study that they did on that, but it was more likely basically that you were successful, you stayed out of trouble if you were raised by a single father. But that doesn't matter. The point is that being raised by a broken household.
Oh, that's the fucking refrigerator. I turned it off, so it's melting. That kind of
Well, I
gave
just
me
had
the
a
jump.
cardiac arrest.
That gave me a little jump.
Second one in the last 10 minutes. But yeah, I think that being raised in a broken household it's so common, but it shouldn't be. And it's so like, yeah, my parents divorced and I was traumatized for half of my childhood.
Do you think it's better for parents to stay together for the kids? I hear that a lot. They're like, well, we stayed together for the kids.
Not if it's abusive, mentally or physically. I think that if you disagree, it could probably be beneficial for the children, maybe not for you. But if it's a toxic environment, then yeah, get the fuck out. Like, if you're a woman and your husband is putting his hands on you, you're a moron if you stay. Like, I'm sorry. You get out of there. Like, go. Like, why would you expose your children to
Yeah.
an abusive, like that?
Then that looks normal. And
yeah.
say you have your children grow up, to them, they're going to start beating their spouses.
Mm-hmm. And then what if that person beats the children? Like, that happens all the time. I'm sure there's people we know that have been abused like that, and we don't even realize it. So, yeah, as far as the soulmate thing goes, I don't buy it. I wish it was real. I wish these fairy tale endings happened. But as you get older, you realize they don't. So, that's my take on it. I think you share the same.
I wonder if that's the general consensus for most people. Like, if I want to poll like 100 married couples.
I feel like the ones that are, if I had to guess, I feel like the religious ones are going to tell you that there's a soulmate. It's because they believe in more of a spiritual, they have a more spiritual belief system. So yeah, so I wonder, like if you get a different demographic,
Mm-hmm.
like with 100 religious people versus 100 atheists or whoever, what do they say? I think you're going to get a difference.
I'm curious. That might stir some controversy in
Yeah,
relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll tear some soulmates apart.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's another thing I think about like relationships is that like the idea that you have of them is brought on by Disney, the church, movies that you see, and that's not reality, and you have an expectation, I think, that it usually doesn't live up to, and you act a certain way that the other person doesn't want you to, but you've seen that in movies, so you think that that's normal, and that drives them away, and we see that so often, where you have the love bombing, like the guy will get the flowers for the girl, give her the tuck her in and good night, tell her, read her a bedtime story type thing, and that 9 times out of 10 that woman will lose attraction to the male, and I think that I've done a lot of research on this.
I personally think I'm guilty of that.
I have been in the past too, but I've learned from my mistakes, and by implementing what I've learned, I've been able to avoid a lot of pain and confusion. And when something happened, when you learn why women or guys act a certain way, you have like, oh, okay, I understand. Like, this is what she's saying. This is why she's saying it. This is what she's doing. This is why she cheated. This is why she broke up with me. Like, you get a more of an understanding. And I think that goes into the divorce problem and the soulmate problem, that people have the wrong idea of relationships entirely. Like, throw it all out the fucking window. Like, you have to relearn basic psychology, evolutionary psychology. Remember we talked about this. Everything is a product of your evolution, every form of psychology. So once you learn that, you realize like why things happen and what not to do in a relationship. Like, we've both been there and they haven't worked out, and you wonder why, and then in hindsight you're like, this might be it. Like, maybe I did this. Oh, yeah, probably. And it makes sense, I guess. I don't know if you want to give a take.
I don't know. I haven't looked into the evolutionary psychology too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much to say on it, but what I find interesting about dating in general and relationships are when you first meet someone that you're interested in, you're very obviously putting on a front. That is not the real you.
Mm-hmm. An actor.
Yeah, both of you are putting on a front to be the most likable person you can be, the most agreeable. And then it's like, at what point does that drop? When do you lose that?
So,
and is the person, maybe when they first meet, they're like, oh, they have expectations for you that are up here, and then you both let your guard down, and it's like, when does that fall apart? Is it deal breaking?
Yeah, I think it depends on what you seek in a person, I guess. I know that women are better at hiding who they are for longer, because it gives them a genetic advantage. But at the end of the day, we're both still lying to each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not being truthful, and then, like you say, once that veil is lifted, and you see the person that you really married or have been with for years, do you still want to be with them? And I think most people answer is no, as backed by statistics.
Yeah, maybe that's why divorce rates are so high.
Because of that fake front that's put on. Potentially, yeah. I wonder. See, we should look into this more.
Maybe I'll go on lots of dates.
We'll just
do
a peer study. I try to get you on the evolutionary psychology bug.
Look, I'm not putting it off for a like, well, this is dumb. This is stupid. I don't need to learn this. It's like
SMH.
it crosses my mind when you bring it up, and then I forget. Then I go about my day.
Yeah, we're all busy. I just it's something that I find very fascinating. It's one of my favorite things, personally. Like just I think when you learn it to a certain degree, and you implement it, you can use it for good or evil, and you can almost play it like a game.
Can it be mildly manipulative?
100,000%, and I am guilty of it. To where I will say or do specific things, use mannerisms, just to see the reaction. Like, how does she respond?
You're just testing the waters. You're prodding.
I'm prodding. I'm messing with like the adrenaline, the emotions. When I get, I'm gonna sound like such a fucking asshole.
Sound like a Chad.
But it's not. I don't have bad intentions. I'm just curious. So, like, for example, adrenaline and attraction is not distinguished in the brain, and I learned this a couple years ago. So, if I would meet a girl for the first time, I had run my own like personal at-home experiments and expose them to a high adrenaline date. For example, racing go-karts. I have a muscle car that is rear-wheel drive, so doing donuts in a parking lot, something that gets their heart rate up. Roller coasters, haunted houses are a really good one. And every single time that I took a girl that I did not know on a high adrenaline type situation date, they wanted another one. But there's been times where I would go out to, like, I would do this on purpose. Sounds fucked up.
Just testing. Yeah, you're
Like, I would meet a girl that I wasn't very interested in, but I was just curious. And I would say, hey, let's go to a movie. Let's go out to eat. Let's go do something mundane. And it was way less likely that I got a second date or caught the attention.
Do you think you mentioned that you usually, if you went on like a mundane date, was with a girl you weren't crazy interested in? What if you took a girl you were very interested in on a mundane date? Do you think that would have a different effect? Do you think that you already not being like really into it had an effect on whether or not you went on a second date because you choose not to go on the date or because they choose not to go on the date?
Yes and no. If I'm not say I was taking a girl I wasn't interested in. I had no confidence issues. I was very carefree, confident, charismatic. So all the traits that they would find attractive, typically. But if I was very interested in a girl, I think all guys are guilty of being a little awkward.
Yeah.
So, yes and no. I think that I acted interested enough. Like, I didn't feel like I went out of my way to, like, I would go out of my way to say and do certain things just to see what would happen. Like, here we go. I'm giving away my secrets here. Like, say it was just a girl that I wasn't super interested in. Like, I would be more playful. Maybe I would be more, like, say, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'd be more confident. I'd touch her arm, say certain things that were bold, but not like aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Just displaying confidence, charisma. And they responded well to that every time. Like, it worked every time in that scenario. And then same with the ones that I would take on the high adrenaline dates. Like, I would do the same thing. And it's like you learn to play it like a game. To where if you make the right choices, if you select the right dialogue, like, you're almost guaranteed to win the attraction, I guess you could say, short term. And if you want to use that for bad, that's on you.
You can.
But you can, potentially. So it's like when you learn about how people are, basically what I'm trying to say, long story short, when you learn about how people are programmed, you can predict behavior by your actions. And so that's what I was fascinated in. And I've seen it firsthand work. Like I've done a 180 when I was younger. I would get broken up with, cheated on, shit on. But I look back on it and it was my fault. She was wrong for doing it, but I was the one that allowed them to think it was okay, I guess you could say. Where I showed weakness. Insecurity was a big one. If I show insecurity, if you're a male and you show a female insecurity, they signal that as weakness. They don't want weakness.
This is a hot topic. This is very debated because generally I think males don't typically have people they can go to like just blow off steam or talk about things with someone, and maybe reinforcing the fact of, well, you can't show weakness around a woman does not help males with their mental issues,
but
if they have any.
Don't vent to your woman about your problems.
That's also like that's a hot button issue. A lot of people don't agree with that. They think that I think some people look at not showing vulnerability to like your partner or spouse shows that you're not committed enough. And maybe the woman views that as bad, a reason they might leave. I think this is a very, very interesting topic. I think it can go both ways. I'm trying to think of times where like I showed weakness to like my girlfriend at the time or something, and the outcome. Actually, a good example, the last girl I was dating, I was visiting her and I was having like low-key an anxiety attack. So I left, I went on a walk just to kind of clear my mind, and then I came back and we were just like laying down, and I was so heavily debating on telling her like I just had an anxiety attack. It's like for 20 minutes I was just laying there thinking, do I say something? Like, what is her reaction going to be? Is she going to think less of me? Is this going to like drive us apart?
And the harsh truth is yes.
It might have, because I did. I told her, and she said like, thank you for telling me. And shortly after we broke up, was that a key factor? I don't know.
I think that that could definitely be part of it. Have you ever like watched a couple from afar, like maybe through social media, like just not like stalk them, but like you see like things, and in your head you're like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Like maybe the guy's posting like sad lovey-dovey TikToks, like I love my baby girlfriend so much, she's so precious and sweet, and they have a kid together and all is swell, but in the back of your mind, something it's not gonna work here. The writing's on the wall, and they break up. This had just happened to me a week ago. I knew this couple pretty well, and if you asked anybody 2 years ago, are they going to be together? Are they going to get married? Are they going to be happy? Every one of them, yep. No way they're not going to be. They have a kid. They're in love. They're goofy. Blah, 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 blah. But I realized, because of what I learned about evolutionary psychology and how people work, that he was doing things that were turning her off without realizing it consistently. And it builds up over time. And about 2 weeks ago, unfortunately, they broke up. And she is now with another man. So it didn't work out. And you can see the writing on the wall when you learn about these things. And it happens all the time. Like, if a woman cheats on a man, like most of the time, he was afraid to set boundaries. He could have prevented it early on in the relationship by setting clear boundaries. I don't feel comfortable with you. Okay, here's a hot topic. I'm going to ask you what your opinion is.
All right, let's go.
Do you think that women should be allowed to have male friends if you're in a relationship with her? Like,
yes.
So she's allowed to have close male friends if you're in a relationship with her?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think it could probably swing the other way too. So I'd want to know them and like know their relationship beforehand, and just how they interact. Because I could say I could be a mildly jealous person. I would be a little bit skeptical. So I would say yes. I don't want to restrict someone from having friends, like regardless of if they're male or female. But at the same vein, I would be 100% more wary of the male friend versus the female friends.
Right. I would respectfully disagree with you.
That's fine. Let's hear it.
I'll give you. You want to keep going on your point?
No, I made my point.
Okay. So my opinion on that. We're all guys. We know, and the women know as well. They just don't want to admit it. If you are a male and you are friendly with a woman, say that girl gets in a relationship with a guy. You probably, if you're close with that girl, you probably were attracted to her, and she friend zoned you, whether that was flat out or kind of insinuating, so you gave up the idea of, I'm going to be in a relationship with her whenever. We're just going to do the typical thing. We're going to end up dating. You remain friends with her because you're waiting for a chink in the armor. You're waiting for her boyfriend to break up with her. You're waiting for an opportunity. And that's all males. I know that a lot of people disagree with that, and I understand. But when you learn about it, men and women can't be friends.
I'm gonna have to disagree.
Let me
Go on.
Okay, so if for example, your brother's girlfriend, that's different. That's your family. Things like that. But if you had, on one of your, if one of your friends had a girlfriend and you became extremely close with her, extremely close with her, and she was attractive, you found her attractive, it's impossible for you not to have a sexual attraction to her. It's just not. It's not. You're a guy. You can't not think of her in that way. So, I'm not saying that you want to ruin that, but at the end of the day, you are sexually attracted to his girlfriend. That's just reality. So, if say something happens with you and that friend, let's just use whatever. Say you guys have a falling out, and they break up. Well, guess what? You were sexually attracted to his girlfriend. Now she's single. It's not unlikely that you're going to reach out to her, or she's going to reach out to you. That happens all the time. But I'll let you explain your.
Yeah. I have female friends who I would say that I'm not sexually attracted to. That I think I can just be friends with.
You're not sexually attracted to them though. You don't find them attractive.
But that's the thing. They can still be friends. I think you can still totally be friends with girls. One girl, I didn't work with her, but she still worked in the mall. And we would go out and take smoke breaks together, just talk, have a good time. One of my other friends who was a girl, I had just gotten dumped the day before, actually the night of. And we were talking, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to come to Tennessee with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go." Absolutely no intentions on my part, none on her part. We just went to Tennessee. Her friend and me. I think I don't know if she was in a relationship at the time. Either way,
one person.
We've been friends for a long time. She's had multiple boyfriends over the span of our friendship. She would talk to me about her problems. I would talk to her about her problems. To me, absolutely no sexual connection there. We were just friends. We would hang out. I don't know how her boyfriend viewed that, but to me, we were just friends.
To you.
And as far as I know, to her, we were just friends. But that's saying I had no intentions of ever dating her. No intentions of ever having any
were you
sexual
relationship. To her? Was she?
No. But the thing is, I think you can still have friends as a girl. If you're in a relationship, you can still have friends. I don't think that's impossible. I totally get what you're saying. I think if a guy finds a girl attractive and he is friends with her, chances are he would want to get with her,
But
right?
it also depends on like the closeness of the relationship. Like it's okay to be friendly with a girl, but once you get to a certain point, that attraction will develop between her or you. So, for example, in your case, I can pretty confidently say that she was attracted to you. I don't know the situation, but in my opinion, she's into you and thinks that A, you're out of her league, B, you don't. She thinks that you don't like her, like you don't like her like that. You've made that clear. You're friends with her. You haven't made an advance on her because you're friends with her, and you didn't make an advance on her at all. So in her mind, a guy will usually do that if they have a desire to be with them. So she might have been keeping you around, waiting for a chink in the armor, whether it was from you or from her, or for you to maybe say, "Hey, I've been thinking, I'm in love with you, or I think you're attractive," and then she was waiting. That's why she was venting about her problems. That's just. I know this sounds crazy.
Well, I guess in that way, like, why would I vent about my problems to her if I didn't find her sexual?
Yeah, it's
Or
okay.
I wasn't looking
Yeah.
for a chink in the armor or anything.
It's always one person or the other in that situation. So you weren't attracted to her, which means that you didn't think of her that way. So venting was normal for you. But if you weren't attracted, it's likely that she was. It's very likely that she was. And her venting was, like, she wouldn't vent to you if. It's hard to explain, but I want you.
What
to,
if
like,
I'm just a really good listener?
Yeah.
I just
that's
I just listen all.
And that's what a lot of people think. But no, I respect your point. But you should learn about these things too. I think it's important. Like, I still have a shit ton to learn about it. But the more you learn about it, the more that you realize, oh, like, yeah, like, that's obvious now. Like, she was into me. Like, you would I think eventually realize that. I think I've done that, dude. Fuck. After learning about this, I can look back like 3-4 years ago and be like, wow, that girl wanted me. I fumbled the bag.
I mean, yeah, I've fumbled the bag plenty of times.
Yeah, I'm putting my jacket on cold. But
I can turn on the heater.
my jacket's fine. It got chilly in this bitch.
After the temperature drops.
Yeah.
Just got on the windbreaker blue ass jacket, shirt tucked
With
in,
the checkers.
checkers.
We're throwing it back to 1950.
You show up here dripped out of your mind, and I'm like, I think the same black jeans as last week. You got the same shoes on, same shoes. I just threw a sweater on.
That's fine. I'm just swagged out, you know.
Yeah, I got it.
I come crazy with it.
There we go.
Camera went off.
That's a good timing. Yeah. All right, we're rolling again.
When we're rolling. We were talking about
Relationships.
relationship stuff.
I enjoy talking about relationships.
too.
I think it's very fun.
It's very fascinating to me.
It is.
And I've learned a lot about it. Like, I've spent a lot of time learning about it, just to avoid mistakes.
I was talking about a time I dropped the bag really hard. There was this girl that I liked, and she liked me, and we talked. We went on like multiple dates, and just nothing ever came of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I think back to that sometimes. I'm like, what happened? Where did it go wrong?
You didn't make an advance.
Dude, I was
We've all been.
I was over at my friend's house, and she was texting me. She's like, I'm alone here all by myself.
Oh,
And I was like, sorry, I'm at my friend's house.
oh.
And I'm like, maybe that's where I like totally fumbled the ball.
There's a.
But like, I was with my buddies. I like hanging out with my buddies.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave them. I was at his house. I wasn't gonna be like, bro, I got a dip. I feel like that's an asshole move.
Yeah, but I think they would understand maybe.
Maybe, but to me, that's like.
If they were real homies, they'd understand.
And, I don't know.
Unless you were doing something like important, like if you're just.
We were
chilling,
just chilling.
I would get it, but as I get what you're saying though, like, hey, this random girl, I'm gonna ditch you guys for this.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, if I'm committed to a thing already, I don't want to blow it off. And
I have a hot take that, not really a hot take, but it's something that I don't see people talking about. I think that a lot of guys like to play stupid when it comes to like girls hitting on them.
100%, I think so.
Do you think that's a self-esteem issue?
I think
'Cause
it's I don't want to tread in this water if it's not actually there. It is like, it might be a confidence issue. If a girl is being flirtatious, I think a guy can pick up on it. and a lot of them act dumb. They're like, well, I didn't know. I think most of the time you just don't want to be rejected in case you're wrong.
Yeah. Or you're like, you're not feeling good that day. Like you're just not feeling attractive, and maybe you have like a self-esteem issue that day. Like I've been there before. Like, shit like that, remember that one where I went to the girl's house and she invited me in, and
Yeah.
I told her, let's tell this one real
I
quick.
gotta go to work.
So you fumbled one, I fumbled one, I fumbled so many, and I regret this one. But I was hanging out with this girl. We've hung out 20, 30 times at this point. As
That
friends.
many times?
Yes, we were like good friends. Me, her, and her best friend were really close. I'm an idiot. I knew this whole time. Like I should have been.
So, yeah, you can kind of tell.
100%. So we had flirted at this point. It wasn't like, whoa, you like me? Like you think I'm attractive? So we knew like better. But we hung out all day, and then I went to drop her off at her house, and she offered to come in and watch movies, which we all know is a good thing.
Leads to one thing or the other.
We were gonna play checkers and chess. That's what it was gonna lead to.
As every good Christian couple would.
Absolutely. But I remember in the moment, like I kind of knew, like I convinced myself. Like no, I'm just gonna go home. I gotta work in the morning. So she says, "Hey, you want to come in for movies?" Nah, I gotta go to work in the morning. It's early. I'm just tired. You can sleep in my place. Fuck. Okay. No, I like my own bed. As my response, and like in the back of my head, like yeah, I knew, like.
You know you're fucking up in the moment.
Yeah,
like
but
you know there's something there, and you're
in too deep.
You're consciously disregarding it.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was like a self-esteem issue at the time. Like, I don't feel good. I just don't feel.
It could have been like a barrier, you know.
Yeah, or like
because
yeah.
I feel like once you cross that bridge,
yeah,
it's either you date the person or you're no longer friends with them.
And that sucks, because this is okay. So this is going to tie into this. This is where I realized that whole men and women can't be friends thing was real. I've had close girlfriends, like many in the past, that I really enjoyed being around as friends. Like I loved them like as friends, like they were awesome, but I wasn't attracted to them.
I think there's a line here that I think needs distinguished.
Right.
So like I have my experiences and you have yours. I think there's some common ground here. I think that maybe if you find sexual attraction in your friend, then you probably cannot be just friends with them. Where in my case, I didn't find any sexual attraction to the person. Therefore, we could continue to be friends. And in the thing you just brought up, you were friends with this girl, but you found her attractive.
From the start.
Therefore...
And I was playing...
Yeah, your end goal is to date this person,
Mm-hmm.
whereas mine was not. I think that's a line that needs to be distinguished.
But was her end goal to date you?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, we can't speculate.
But to my knowledge, no. And I really do feel like if I asked her, because she said multiple times, she's like, "Hey, you're a good-looking dude," and I absolutely think there was like no sexual attraction there. I really don't.
Is she a lesbian?
No.
There was sexual attraction. I'm sorry, I can't give this up.
I genuinely think like we can just be friends with nothing else in between. I genuinely
Does she
think
you're
that.
Gay?
I don't. Well, I don't know.
Something wrong.
I don't know. I think you need to open your mind up a little more.
I see where you're coming from.
I get that everyone has different experiences, but I like 100%. I honestly believe that we are just totally friends, and there's nothing else there.
I can't give you this one.
She feels like
saying.
a homie. Like she hypes the homies, and like we're homies, you know.
Okay, so she's quoting your looks directly. That's a massive green flag for I'm attracted to you.
Well, what about with the homies? I'd be like, yo, dude, you look pretty good today.
That's
like
different.
your drip is on fire.
It's different.
Is it though?
Yes, because you're not attracted to that sex. Like you're not attracted to dudes. Can gay guys not
address the homies and say they look good?
That's another hot topic. That's
they
the
not?
same thing as they can't be gay males cannot be friends with males they find attractive.
I don't agree with that.
I've
Well,
had
okay.
this
Well,
in
there's the thing at the end. You're adding on the thing at the end about the being attracted.
You have to be attracted. That's
you don't
important.
have to be.
But one or the other is going to be attracted over time. That could take a week. That could take 6 months. Eventually, one's going to be attracted to the other. The more time you spend around a person, the more attractive they become to you.
I think time is an important factor here, and I'm glad
Yes.
you brought that up.
So we have to bring that's important to bring up. Over time, you get closer, you learn more about the person, they become more desirable. You're friends with them because you like their personality. That's important. But yeah, time is definitely a factor here, and for some people it's a month, some people it's a year. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're attracted to somebody, eventually, if they are your friend, you are going to be living in hell because you are in love with this person and now they're dating somebody else, but you were too scared to tell them. Or they'll be living in hell because they're too scared to tell you. They don't want to ruin the friendship. That could be another reason. Like you're saying with that girl, I didn't want to ruin the friendship. That was definitely a reason. Because I didn't want to ruin with her friend, because I didn't really want to date. Yeah, anyways. I just, there's so much like data and evidence out there that you just, it doesn't work. Like study groups, they've been.
I think all that stuff is fine and provides data, but I think one missing factor is like the human data, right? So like personal experiences from people that you know. I don't know. Maybe you view this because the people you know did have exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
Every close
I guess
woman
what I'm
friend,
saying kind of contradicts itself in a way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Every close woman friend that I've had has either developed an attraction to me or vice versa. I don't have any woman friends that I'm very close with anymore. There's a reason for that. I was friends with
There was a goddamn notification.
no, you're good. I was friends with gay dudes in the past. Like I was close with some gay guys. Eventually, they developed an attraction to me. That with every single one of them, but if they weren't attracted, okay, so say I've had like friends that were homosexual that weren't attracted to me, and they were alright, like that worked out fine. But if they are, eventually they ruin it. Well, they say something, they'll ruin it. They'll say something, or they'll woman or dude will make a comment, they'll make a remark. We should be more than friends. We should be this. Blah, blah, blah. Are you into this? Every one of them, and that's personal experience mixed with data, mixed with evidence, mixed with psychology, mixed with evolution. And when you add all those things together, I think that we don't want to admit it, but over time you just like, yeah, I accept it. Like it's something you accept.
I mean, I can see your point. I can. Because like we literally just talked about instincts. The natural human instinct
You
is
can't
to
beat 'em.
reproduce. But I stand in my belief that you can be friends with just friends with the opposite sex. But I see your point of if one party finds the other attractive, it's not going to work out.
100%.
So you have to find neither attractive.
Which doesn't happen.
It can happen.
One or the other.
It 100% can happen, I think.
Unless you're homosexual, like
I
the
would
woman
say-
or the guy.
I'm going to say it's
different then.
it's more maybe it's more unlikely for that to happen, but I think it totally can happen.
Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe it's very unlikely, but it could happen. I can't say no to that. Like I don't know, so I'll give you that. But I mean, like, yeah, I think that it's at the very least it's significantly more likely than it is unlikely. Can you agree with that?
Yeah,
Is that common
yeah,
ground?
I
Okay.
can agree with that.
All right, see, we found common ground. This is what
Look at that.
liberals and fucking Republicans.
This is what open discussion.
Yeah,
is.
nobody's mad at each other. I swear.
I'm not holding a grudge.
There's no
against,
gun under the table.
Kyle's
right now.
opinion.
But yeah, just that's a hot take, I think. But
That is a hot take because a lot of people.
they don't like hearing that.
No, I see a lot of comments on Reddit like, I would never date a guy or girl who wouldn't let me be friends with the opposite sex.
Mhm.
And while I agree with that, I think that's very restricting, and I wouldn't want to be with someone like that. But in that same vein, I know I can be a pretty jealous person sometimes. I
We
might
all
not.
are.
I might
That's
not
normal.
outwardly show it, but I might think it. And I would be a little on edge if a girl I was dating was really close with another guy.
Because that's
I would think
It's
like, what are
disrespectful
his
to you.
intentions?
well, it's disrespectful to you. If you're in a committed relationship with somebody, they don't need other male validation.
I think there's like a level
And same
and
with
a
dudes.
line that needs to be set that shouldn't be crossed.
Boundaries.
Yes.
You can't hang out with this person alone. That's you.
I
Your girlfriend should never, or guy. This
I
goes for
don't
both
know
sexes.
if I would go that far.
I have
I think there's a lot of variables at play for me, at least.
There's no scenario where it's acceptable that my girlfriend hangs out with her close guy friend alone. You can't give me a scenario personally that I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
If it's like sleeping over at the same house, like, no, we're just friends, I'd be like, oh, fuck no.
I don't care if
I'd
they're
be like,
hanging
hell
out
no.
at church together, worshiping fucking Moses and Mary. It's not acceptable. That's a boundary that you should be setting with your girlfriend, and it's a mistake if you don't. Women like when you set boundaries, and that's a boundary that you have to set. To give you an example, one of my exes, not to be named, had a guy friend that I was instantly aware of being attracted to her, although according to her and him, nothing. There was nothing there.
Well, you have the perspective of a guy, so you know.
I know that they all want all of her friends. She had multiple. All of her close guy friends, this one in specific because he was the closest, wanted to have sex with her, wanted to date her. 100%. I saw this. I told her, I said, look, you can do whatever you want. I don't want to stop you, but personally, I will not be in a relationship with you if you are, or if you maintain this relationship this closely. Like if you hang out alone, you're not going to be allowed to hang out alone. Like that's not acceptable. That's my belief. And if you don't want, I'm not holding you hostage. If you don't want to partake in that, I totally get it. Go be on your own. Go be happy with whoever. That's fine. We were together. Everything was fine. I broke up with her. Guess who entered the picture?
The homeboy.
The homeboy. It was obvious. It's inevitable. I promise, take this advice, set that boundary with a future companion.
I think there are boundaries that should be set, and I think that's very important. But I wouldn't totally restrict my significant other from having guy friends.
If it was like a,
It's a totally like read the play type deal.
the play always is the same.
I'd have to get a read on this person first. I would 100% have to get a read on the other person.
If he was a straight male, I promise that he wants a chink in the armor to get with her, have sex with her, or get with her long term. That's it. That's my belief. I promise, though.
I don't know, but that
real.
wasn't
Unless
me. That
he's-
wasn't me with my friend.
Because then she would. Okay, so for example, maybe he wasn't attracted to her, but she was attracted to him. Like in that case, I can say with my perspective that girl was attracted to you.
Do you think you could pick up on that?
Which one?
If you're dating a girl and she's friends with a guy, you are pretty confident the guy is not attracted to her. Do you think you would be able to tell if she was attracted
Yes.
to him? Then would you even enter that relationship?
No.
Like that's like a no from me.
No, I would avoid that. Like the plague.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I stand firm on this belief.
And you're
And
allowed to stand wherever you want.
I think that the more that you learn about the evolutionary psychology topic, you'll be more accepting of that in other people. And I think that it's becoming more accepted. Like maybe you said that 5 years ago, people were like, you're a misogynist, you hate women, you're sexist. No, I don't. I think that women should be free to do whatever they choose, but I don't have to buy in. I don't have to be in a relationship with that woman. I'm not holding her hostage. I'm not going to get in a relationship with somebody and not have set that boundary previously.
Yeah.
And not tell her like, look, like you're free to do what you want. I'm not holding you hostage. But this is my expectation for you, and either you uphold it or you don't. And that's that. Like, I get it. And it's worked out well for me with women. Like, they respected our relationship. If I set boundaries early on, they were much more respectful in the relationship.
If you had a close friend that was a girl that you were not attracted to, and you were dating a girl, and she said, "It's either you can date me, and you have to not be friends with her, or I'm leaving." What's your take on that?
And I'm not
do you
attracted to her?
You're not. Like, she's just a close friend that you can talk to about anything, like one of the homies.
And then she gives me that ultimatum.
Yes.
And this would not. Unfortunately, I'd have to bite the bullet and not be friends with her, because that would be more damaging for her in the long term, and for myself.
So you would choose to
Give up the friendship.
ruin the friendship over dating the girl?
Yes, because that once she exposes that, that's game over. Either you take her up on the offer, or you ruin the friendship, regardless. Because women don't take rejection well, neither do guys, and that's a rejection. And she's not gonna stop being attracted to you.
I feel like my question got misconstrued here.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll take that cut out of that anime girl over there.
Very nice.
There is a life-size anime girl over there. It's pretty.
There's
epic.
no holes in it.
No, there are not. But okay, so say that's your girlfriend. That's Yuzu. You're dating Yuzu.
All right.
And then,
nice boobs.
There's Ram over here, right? You were really good friends with Ram.
Fuck Ram.
You're not attracted to Ram.
Ram doesn't have tits.
You guys have been good buds for years. And then Yuzu is like, Kyle, if you want to date me, you can no longer be friends with Ram.
If I wanted to date her,
Yeah, you want to date her,
very bad.
but she's a really close friend of yours who you do not find attractive.
That's a choice that I respect. And personally, depending on my attraction to, what's her name?
Yuzu.
Sorry, I forgot my girlfriend's name. Depending on my attraction, I would give up that friendship if I felt that it was worth it, to be with Miss Uzu over there. Yuzu over there.
Damn, you're fumbling the ball.
I'm sorry, I still love you. Yeah, I think that's just that's respect for my partner. If I want to be with somebody, then I'm with them. I'm not with Ram.
Yeah.
That's a sacrifice. You have to make sacrifices in relationships, right? That's a sacrifice that you might have to make. Either you do it or you don't. You don't have any other option. So yeah, if I would tell her, look, I'm sorry, I care about you deeply, but I have to make a decision that I think is better for myself and for Yuzu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can no longer maintain a close relationship, or one at all. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. I hope you have a great rest of your life, and your children prosper, if you have them. That's what I'll do.
All right.
So
I respect the not hypocritical decision.
Yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying. Like, you can't expect something from somebody and not do it yourself.
You know what's interesting? I have quite a few tattoos. Like, I have a full arm sleeve, leg, hip, shoulder, wrist. I don't like tattoos on girls. I don't really like it.
Don't say that out loud.
Is that hypocritical of me? Or is it, what I view it as is like, if a girl rejects me because of my tattoos, like, I'm not going to get mad about it. I respect that they don't want to date someone with tattoos. But in that same regard, I don't really want to date someone with tattoos. But I myself have tattoos.
Does it depend on the tattoos? Like, say a girl has a couple small tattoos, would that be less, or would that turn you off less than if she had a sleeve?
Not really. It does depend on like what they are and where they're at.
So it would be,
If she has like a boob chandelier, that's a no from me.
yeah, tramp stamp.
Yeah, I know that's a no. Even a sleeve, I'm hesitant on.
My theory on that is because it's masculine.
Maybe.
And that's why I think that it is on
But,
a female.
Like a lot of guys find tattoos very sexy and appealing.
A lot of guys are very feminine and not masculine. Sorry, but that's just true. And they are attracted to like women with muscle, tattoos, masculine features. And that could go back to them being raised by a single father, single mother. That could go into so many things. But from my perspective, a woman with tattoos is, I see her as more masculine. It's the same thing as muscles on a woman. It's just something that
I think I can low key see that.
and that's why I'm not attracted to them.
You don't like it either, really?
So I can ignore them if they're not in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're not huge pieces, if they're not, she's not sleeved, the chandelier shit. I don't like the under boob tattoo. But I can look past them if they're not in my face, basically. But if they're a big part of her body, I don't find it attractive personally.
Does that make you a hypocrite? Since
Yes
you have
and
tattoos?
no, because the masculine and feminine argument. So yes and no. Like yeah, I mean, by definition, I'm a hypocrite. Because
Like I have the thing and you do, but I don't like that you have it.
So by definition, we're hypocrites. Yeah. But it's not because, like, there's a reason why we don't want them on a female. Like a girl wouldn't want. Let me think of a feminine trait on a guy.
Ear piercings.
Yeah, ear piercings. Like we'll push
nose piercings.
Yeah, like a feminine, and especially like a feminine style. Like most women don't find that attractive. But on them it looks fine. Like if they have it, I don't even blink twice. Like they don't think of other girls with ear piercings as weird, but they think of a guy with ear piercings as a little feminine.
Am I a little feminine? I got some ear piercings.
Jeans,
the skinny jeans, they rock. I was told, I was at a bar in Japan. We met some British guy, a Canadian, and we hung out with them for the night, had a good time, and then the next day we were out at the bars. We called them up. They were like, hey, we're out of the bars. You guys want to come out? And they had some friends that were at another bar down the road, a gay bar. So we went there just to hang out, drink. And this one gay guy there was talking to Jonathan. They were just chatting it up, and I was talking to other people. So I walk over and see what they're talking about. And he was like, the moment I saw you, my gaydar went off crazy. But the second I heard your voice, he's like, he's not fucking gay. Yeah. So I guess I do, like, physically from afar, I might give off gay vibes.
Yeah, you have, like, more of, like, feminine traits, which I don't blink twice at, but some girls might.
Yeah.
Like the jeans, the earrings, stuff like that, you know? Like, to them, that's feminine. Some women like that, but a majority want masculine traits, which I don't really care. Like if I'm a guy, if I'm like for you, like you like skinny jeans, like don't stop wearing skinny jeans because of what a woman wants you to wear.
Yeah, fuck her opinion.
And I agree. Like if you like something, who cares? Like if you genuinely enjoy something, just
like if a girl wants tattoos, get fucking tattoos.
Yeah, we're not telling you not to. Yeah, go do it. Because some guy out there will be attracted to you. It's just a preference for certain ones that aren't. So it's just it depends on who the person is. But yeah, like traditionally speaking, like shit, me being skinny, like a lot of women are attracted to skinny guys.
Yeah.
A lot are. Muscles, like, you know what I mean? Like more women are going to be attracted to muscular physique than not. So that would be more masculine. But it just depends on the person too. But like universally speaking, it's kind of predictable. Like, okay, if we want to get into some scientific numbers here, which I enjoy doing because it's evidence-based data.
Let's bring the science.
Women are attracted the most, multiculturally, to a 1.6 to 1 shoulder to waist ratio.
What the fuck does that mean? Is that
they want your shoulders? They are most sexually attracted to shoulders that are 1.6 times the width of a male's waist. That's the golden ratio.
I don't know what mine are.
You can measure it. You can just measure your waist. If it's like 30 inches, measure your shoulder circumference and then see what that is. If it's twice your... so if your shoulder is twice the width of your waist. So say your waist is 30 inches, your shoulder circumference is 60. That's 2 times. They want 1.6. That's ideal. So
Is 2 too big?
Yes.
think it's the perfect number. I think it's fine.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of guys. Well, we'll get into that later. But what I'm tying in is that there's a lot of predictability in sexual attraction, universally. So, the V-shaped torso, symmetrical face, deep voice for a guy, white teeth, because these are showing signs of health and genetics. Strong hair, good hairline. These are all universal traits. And the reason behind them is because a woman wants the strongest genetic option she can get. So if you have straight teeth, good hair, you're tall, you're fit, you're wealthy, you display traits of leadership then, they're going to be more inclined to be attracted to that. But at the same time, there's also a small subgenre of women that aren't. It's just not likely. It's more likely, you know what I mean? Like, it's more
I was
likely.
just going to ask about, like, I've seen a lot too, is girls are like, oh, I like the dad bod.
No.
You don't think that's...
No.
Then why do you think they say it?
Let me think here, because I have an answer for this, but give me a second.
Or like some dudes like bigger women.
That's different. Like guys, some guys view larger women as more fertile. Like wider hips are better for childbearing. It all comes down to that evolution. Are you going to produce high quality offspring for me as a male, or are you going to produce many high quality offspring for me as female, man, whatever? It's just all about genetics. But your question, why do girls say they like dad bods? One reason is insecurity. So if a woman is with a male with a dad bod and she's insecure, less women will try to steal her man. Less women will be attracted to her boyfriend. So she feels secure in the relationship. That's one reason. There's many reasons, but that's just one I can think of off rip. But yeah, that's one answer to your question, I guess. There's more, but
All right.
I'm not a computer. But yeah, basically, the woman that wants the man or the dad bod type is potentially has insecurities, and if she were to get with a highly desirable male.
We are live once more.
Okay, so I was saying, if an insecure woman were to date a highly desirable male, more women will try to take the male away from her, which feeds into her insecurity. So she'll go after a less attractive physique. Ideally, 99% of women want a fit, slim, muscular, lean physique. Not slim, lean. They want lean. Women care. So men tend to shape their physique and their appearance around the male gaze without realizing it. But like you use like bodybuilders, like the people that are massive in the gym, they're doing that for other men. They're showing off to males at that point.
Yeah.
How many women find that attractive?
Not many.
Well, barely, unless they're in like the fitness world. So a lot of males will do things that appeal to the male gaze because that's what they know. We don't know the female gaze because we're not females. So we do things that we think are attractive, or we want to be. We want to be big and muscular and massive, or we want to be 6'8" or whatever the fuck it is. That's the male gaze. Like that's extreme. Women don't want extremes. So basically, what I'm saying, I'm getting off topic here. We've been talking for like 14 fucking hours. Cut me some slack.
Going on 4 hours.
Yeah. My brain's devolving. But yeah, the ideal for a female, the ideal male would be a lean physique over anything else. So if you're an insecure woman with a lean, tall, wealthy, successful, symmetrical, confident male, you're just basically more likely to get your mate stolen. Mate choice selection.
All right.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I like talking about this stuff.
I know. It's interesting because, I mean, I don't think we see eye to eye on a lot of it. So, but I'm learning things. Hopefully you're learning things.
Yeah.
Viewing different perspectives.
Well, it's good to be challenged on either side. I think that only provides more introspective thought and only helps evolve your opinions on both sides. But yeah.
All right, we'll probably end this episode here. We've been going for 3 hours,
Yeah, our brains are
42
fried.
minutes right now. There's still a lot of things we didn't get to.
Well,
I still wanna
we have a
talk about.
lot. We have a lot to get to.
And it's crazy because every week it's just going to add like more and more shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to like start a new note at some point.
It's good to
We'll
have
start
too
over.
many things to talk about and not enough.
I agree.
So
Well, yeah, we'll call it here. This is the end of the episode. What is it? It's fucking midnight.
we.
This is the latest you've stayed up in a while.
Yeah, this is like 3 hours past my bedtime.
I like that bit. That's a fun bit.
It's messed up.
I spoke to it. Anyway, yeah, this is we'll catch you guys next week at the once again we'll be stuck at the airport.
Tune in.
Yeah. All right, catch you.